Chapter 1751, I Know What I Am Doing. Chapter 1751, I Know What I Am Doing. Translator. Atlas Studios. Editor. Atlas Studios. Fong Yuan looked at Steel Life Immortal Gu closely. This immortal Gu resembled a bee. It was the size of an adult fist, its body was covered in alternating gold and black stripes and its whole body was covered with a layer of thin red radiance. When it moved, this red light would brighten. The most eye-catching part was the bee's stinger. It was extremely thin and sharp, its length surpassed the body itself, reaching that of an adult's forearm. According to rumors, Steel Life Immortal Gu was the first immortal Gu obtained by thieving Heaven Demon Venerable. Its origin was extraordinary. Fong Yuan looked at Steel Life Immortal Gu and was immersed in thoughts. Although thieving Heaven is a demon venerable, his nature is mild and not bloodthirsty. He is completely different from Spectral Soul Demon Venerable. But because of this nature, he created Theft Path. Fong Yuan knew a lot about thieving Heaven Demon Venerable. Thieving Heaven Demon Venerable was an otherworldly demon. He wholeheartedly wanted to return to his original world. His nature was mild and he did not enjoy killing. He only gathered resources and cultivated constantly, searching for a way to return home. What to do? Facing this question, Theft Path was the answer he created. The 10 Venerables were the most outstanding characters in history. After Fong Yuan was reborn, he became even more interested about these Venerables and placed even greater importance on them. It could be said that in Fong Yuan's previous life, in the unprecedented battle which started based on Fate Gu's restoration project, Venerables played a key role. Every time a Venerable made a move, it would almost change the entire battle situation. The unparalleled strength and far-sighted planning of each Venerable left an extremely deep impression on Fong Yuan. Suddenly, a light of inspiration flashed past Fong Yuan's mind. Limitless, Star Constellation, Primordial Origin, Genesis Lotus, Giant Sun, Red Lotus, and Paradise Earth, all of them used various kinds of methods to take part in the 5 regions' chaotic war. Only Thieving Heaven, Reckless Savage, and Spectral Soul did not make a move. No, Spectral Soul was already taken captive and only his remnant soul remained. How could he have any power to make a move? I, who inherited Shadow Sect's true inheritance and led Shadow Sect to battle, can be considered as his move. Spectral Soul Demon Venerable is incomparably bold and has the deepest killing intent. After death, he accumulated strength, reaching the terrifying achievement of having Great Grandmaster attainment in every path. Just based on his attainment levels, he can be considered as the #1 person in history, surpassing all the past Venerables. But even he has to follow the most fundamental law. Without any immortal essence or Gu worms, and having only a remnant soul left, he had no tools to do anything and could only be a captive of Heavenly Court. So did Thieving Heaven Demon Venerable and Reckless Savage Demon Venerable predict the 5 regions' chaotic war or not? Both of them should have been able to predict it. After all, both Primordial Origin and Limitless left behind their arrangements. These two are also similarly rank 9 Venerables and were born later as well. How could they not have deduced it? They deduced this battle, so did they leave behind any arrangements to intervene? It is possible that Thieving Heaven only thought about returning home, but what about Reckless Savage? He was one of the Demon Venerables who attacked Heavenly Court. He should have left a lot of arrangements. They were not exposed in my previous life, but can I find Reckless Savage's arrangements in this life and use them? Fong Yuan's eyes brightened at this thought. This was an excellent method. Facing a colossal force like Heavenly Court, unless he could advance to rank 9 Venerable, he would have to borrow the strength of others. At this time, Xianxia Land Spirit interrupted Fong Yuan's thoughts. Fong Yuan, you now have rank 8 Steel Life Immortal Gu, this means you have 5 rank 8 Immortal Gu in your hands. It is truly unbelievable. You only have rank 7 cultivation but actually possess 5 rank 8 Immortal Gu. Such a situation has rarely happened even in the whole of history. Xianxia Land Spirit sighed with deep emotions. Fong Yuan had obtained Steel Life Immortal Gu, he also had Attitude, Wisdom Sword, Years Flow Like Water, and Soul Beast Token. He had 5 rank 8 Immortal Gu indeed. This naturally did not include Wisdom Gu because Wisdom Gu was rank 9. Langya Land's spirit had been paying attention to Fang Yuan all along and was quite aware of his situation. Fang Yuan smiled nonchalantly. How could he tell Langya Land's spirit that he would still obtain more rank 8 immortal Gu in the future, like spring, summer, big chi, and regret? If he said it, wouldn't it scare Langya Land's spirit? It is just that this Steel Life Immortal Gu has a flaw. Back then, when Thieving Heaven Demon Venerable left it behind, he was worried this Gu would bring catastrophe to people, thus he only left behind 3 chances to use it. In my previous life, in the battle to defend Langya, the chances were used to kill Thunder Ghost True Monarch, then Steel Life Immortal Gu was destroyed by Chun Yi using Karma Divine Tree. This is not the only flaw of Steel Life. Using Steel Life Immortal Gu alone does not distinguish between enemies and allies. While it targets enemies, it will endanger the user as well. This is quite an awkward result. So, now that I have obtained Steel Life Immortal Gu, I will have to deduce some killer moves to remove this flaw at least. If possible, it would be even better if I could lift the limit of using Steel Life Immortal Gu for 3 times only. Various thoughts flashed in Fang Yuan's mind. However, he was aware that Steel Life Immortal Gu's 3 usage limit was set by Thieving Heaven Demon Venerable. It would be extremely difficult for him to resolve it. While thinking of these, Fang Yuan smiled at Langya Land's spirit. First Supreme Elder, this Steel Life Immortal Gu seems like it can only be used 3 times. Do you know why that is the case? Langya Land's spirit was inwardly shaken. Fang Yuan actually saw through it. How was this possible? This was Thieving Heaven Demon Venerable's method, even he himself was unable to sense it. No clues could be seen from the outside. Even when the previous land spirit used all kinds of refinement path methods, he was unable to sense the limits placed by Thieving Heaven Demon Venerable. Fang Yuan only took several glances and he understood it clearly. Langya Land's spirit blurted out with a shocked expression, "How did you discover it?" The moment he said this, Langya Land's spirit's expression changed, because this question was no doubt confirming Fang Yuan's words. He coughed and said with an awkward expression, "It was not that I intentionally hid it from you, I was planning to tell you." Although land spirits could not lie, they could think and scheme. Like the black-haired land spirit, he was ambitious and had good leadership as well. The previous white-haired land spirit was more proficient in enduring silently and managed to develop Langya Blessed Land very well. The black and white land spirits each had their own strengths. The black-haired land spirit intended to say the truth, but his idea was saying the truth. After Fang Yuan discovered the flaw, it was not considered lying. Fang Yuan looked at black-haired land spirit and said with a faint smile, "First Supreme Elder, I wanted to exchange for refinement path true meaning, just these immortal Gu won't do. Steel life is also in this state, you need to add some things to fill in the difference." The black-haired land spirit rolled his eyes and mumbled, "I know this. Speak, what else do you want?" Fang Yuan smiled, "I have a suggestion." He said his suggestion, the general idea was to deepen the collaboration with the other 3 races, by using Langya sex accumulation to exchange for the time path immortal Gu that the 3 variant human races had. Langya Land's spirit was surprised, "You still want to exchange for time path immortal Gu? Are you thinking of developing in time path?" Fang Yuan nodded. This was necessary. He currently had yet to kill Xianxia and lacked spring, summer, autumn, and winter, these 4 time path immortal Gu. He also had not gotten rank 7 edge Gu from Tai Chu Zhong yet and could not use time cutting edge either. Fang Yuan's time path immortal Gu came mainly from 2 sources, the most important of them came from He Fan's true inheritance, while the others were some Gu worms left from graceful chaotic dual stage. Fang Yuan's refinement path attainment level was at quasi-supreme grandmaster, his time path was 2. Adding on that Red Lotus true inheritances were still in the river of time, Fang Yuan would need to go into the river of time. Thus, he naturally needed powerful battle strength in the aspect of time path. Langya Land's spirit nodded, "Then I shall swallow my pride and discuss with the other 3 races. Fang Yuan, the important thing now is still Heavenly Court. We need to quickly get rid of the harmful Dao marks in the blessed land before secretly relocating as quickly as possible. Fang Yuan quickly comforted the anxious black-haired land spirit. I know what I am doing, relax. I am gathering these time path immortal Gu to deal with heavenly court as well. I have some plans to deal with the harmful Dao marks in Langya blessed land. I will modify our super immortal formation after some time as well. That's good. The black-haired land spirit patted Fang Yuan's shoulder and left. His actions were extremely efficient. He settled the discussions not long later and gave the time path immortal Gu to Fang Yuan. Counting in the time path immortal Gu from Langya sect's treasury as well as those exchanged from the variant humans, there were 5, 3 rank 6 and 2 rank 7. Among the rank 7, there was time concealment immortal Gu and time needle. 1. Immortal Gu. Among the rank 6, the immortal Gu were yesterday, 10 days, and successive years. To Fang Yuan, the most helpful one was time concealment immortal Gu, as this Gu could conceal the Gu immortal. He was extremely happy to have obtained it. Time needle immortal Gu was an offensive Gu which would shoot out thin needles towards the enemies once activated. The remaining 3 rank 6 Gu were just passable and would at most be used as supplementary immortal Gu. A day later, large amounts of rank 8 immortal materials were thrown down and formed into a multicolored whirlpool. Wisdom Gu dove into the vortex of its own accord like a cat that had smelled fish. Fang Yuan opened his sovereign immortal aperture and stored the multicolored whirlpool inside. Back then, Langya land spirit had used this method to deceive Wisdom Gu into moving to Langya blessed land from Hu immortal blessed land. This method was used in Fang Yuan's previous life as well. This time, although he was familiar with it, he pretended like it was the first time he saw it and praised Langya land spirit endlessly. To hide the secret of his current rebirth, he needed to start concealing it from these small details. The black-haired land spirit was praised by Fang Yuan, but his disappointed feelings were already revealed. Sigh, my heart feels so empty now. Black-haired land spirit heaved a deep sigh. He had been coveting Wisdom Gu for a long time. He had not expected it would still go to Fang Yuan in the end, and he had even spent a large amount of lifespan Gu in the process of feeding it. But he could do nothing about it. Under the threat of Heavenly Court's invasion, the black-haired land spirit had to accept this no matter how unwilling he was, to prevent Wisdom Gu from ending up in Heavenly Court's hands. Take a look at this immortal Gu recipe. We will refine this immortal Gu next. After Fang Yuan collected Wisdom Gu, he gave an immortal Gu recipe to Langya land spirit. Langya land spirit looked carefully. Myriad self-immortal Gu. Right. This Gu can greatly increase my battle strength and it will be helpful in dealing with Heavenly Court. Fang Yuan said while walking out of this valley. Start preparing, I will go to gather the 8 main immortal materials. Oh, wait a moment, didn't you want to modify the Blessed Land's formation? Fang Yuan waved his hand without even turning around. Don't worry, I know what I am doing. Langya land spirit. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report chapter so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1752, Killing Immortals, Plundering Lu. Chapter 1752, Killing Immortals, Plundering Lu. Northern Plains. Autumn Blade Plain. A Gu immortal walked barefooted on the grassland. He was tall and well-built, and had a bronze luster to his skin. He was wearing an armored vest that revealed his shoulders. His pants were rolled up, revealing his calves. Every step he walked, there would be bloody footprints left on the grassland. He was Meng Tu. Blade Path Quasi-Great Grandmaster, Rank 7 Gu Immortal with peak Rank 7 battle strength. He was one of the top 3 experts among Meng tribe's Rank 7 elites. In order to break through in his Blade Path attainment level, Meng Tu chose to guard Autumn Blade Plain, imitating Renzu's actions and almost ignoring the outside world completely. He was dead silent as he walked step by step in Autumn Blade Plain. His eyes were shut as he concentrated deeply, trying to comprehend the profundity of Blade Path. Suddenly, he opened his eyes. He saw that monsters were emitting shrill shrieks as they attacked him. These monsters were horrifying in appearance, they had human shapes but had malevolent and terrifying faces, they had knife-like claws, their eyes were filled with blood, their intense killing intent made Meng Tu's hair stand on end. What in the world is this? Meng Tu was shocked and furious. After fighting against these monsters, he was shocked to realize that each of them had rank 7 battle strength. Even with his peak rank 7 battle strength, against this unceasing wave of monsters, he had no choice but to retreat. But right when he was about to retreat, the monsters attacking him self-detonated. This sudden event was out of Meng Tu's expectations, he was truly caught off guard. Boom boom boom. The monsters continued to self-detonate with great power. Meng Tu retreated while he spat out blood. These monsters are working together in a tight formation, they have great coordination, there must be a Gu immortal controlling them. I wonder if they are a soul path or enslavement path Gu immortal. Meng Tu was uncertain and worried, he was about to seek help from his tribe when the world suddenly changed colors. By the time Meng Tu reacted, he was already trapped inside an immortal battlefield. This immortal battlefield was set up so quickly. Shock flashed across Meng Tu's eyes. Until this point, he had not even seen the enemy's face yet. "Sir, who are you? Why are you being enemies with my Meng tribe?" Meng Tu shouted. The mastermind Fang Yuan smiled lightly, he started to prepare Luo Pasil while ignoring him. Fang Yuan did not have Wu Yong's concealment method. Once he started preparing Luo Pasil, intense winds blew, the overwhelming aura permeated the entire Yama battlefield. His location was thus exposed. Meng Tu's sharp gaze looked over, he saw that Fang Yuan was an ordinary-looking Gu immortal, wearing a grey robe and looking very much like a common passerby. But Fang Yuan's current aura made Meng Tu incredibly astounded. In fact, Meng Tu was dazed, he only has peak rank 7 cultivation, how can he use a rank 8 killer move? In truth, Luo Pasil was only quasi-rank 8, but it had immense aura. Because Fang Yuan did not have rank 8 immortal essence yet, the Luo Pasil he activated now had been modified and weakened a little. Meng Tu gritted his teeth, charging at Fang Yuan. Northern Plains Gu immortals were this courageous after all. Fang Yuan smiled lightly, he was relaxed and calm, as if Meng Tu did not exist. A large number of human-shaped Yama children appeared and blocked Meng Tu with their lives. The number of Yama children sent Meng Tu into despair. Once Fang Yuan's Luo Pasil was ready, he attacked from afar. Due to the Yama children's obstruction, Meng Tu could not dodge anywhere, he was hit by Luo Pasil. Instantly, his expression turned pale and ghastly. He was dead. His soul dissipated completely, not a trace was left. Fang Yuan started collecting his loot. Meng Tu's body was intact, his immortal aperture was also left behind, there were many cultivation resources and 3 immortal Gu inside. In the previous life, Meng Tu self-detonated, Fang Yuan only obtained Blade Wing immortal Gu, his gains were much higher now. After dispelling Yama battlefield, Fang Yuan looted the whole of Autumn Blade Plain. The drinking blade wine that was buried underground was his main goal, Fang Yuan also collected it. Other than that, there was a vast number of mortal edge Gu. Forget about immortal level edge Gu, it was in the hands of southern border Gu immortal Tai Chu Zhong. Meng Tu self-detonated in my previous life, it was out of my expectations, his blade path Dao marks were left in this autumn blade plain, making the potential of this place extraordinary. But in this life, Meng Tu was killed by me before he even thought of self-detonating. Now that I plundered everything here, this autumn blade plain is as good as history. Fang Yuan took nearly everything, he swept through the area with a cold gaze before he turned around and left. He did not return to Langyat Blessed Land, because he still had immortal materials to collect. There were 4 main immortal materials for refining myriad self-immortal Gu, they were drinking blade wine, edge Gu, frontback divine obstruction needle, and floating life fire. He had the first 2 now, only the latter 2 were left. Fang Yuan came to Divine Needle Valley. This was an artificial valley that rank 7 Gu immortal Sleeping Lady purposely created for the divine hedgehog. Sleeping Lady was a rank 7 Northern Plains lone immortal who did not have outstanding battle strength, but she controlled an immemorial desolate beast divine hedgehog that was a sword path immemorial desolate beast. The divine hedgehog had an ability to shoot out all the spines on its body, which was extremely fast and had terrifying power that could slaughter anyone it hit. If Sleeping Lady and the divine hedgehog cooperated well, there was a chance of killing Meng Tu. Precisely so, in the previous life, Meng Zizai and Meng Zhao from Meng tribe investigated Meng Tu's death and had actually suspected Sleeping Lady. Fong Yuan came to Divine Needle Valley but did not enter. He used the same trick as earlier, sending the Yama children to attack. Soon, Sleeping Lady's shocked screams could be heard in the valley. Such guts! You dare to attack my Divine Needle Valley! The Yama children exploded one by one as Sleeping Lady fled, cutting a sorry figure. Want to join up with the divine hedgehog? Fong Yuan sneered. He used the remaining force of the Yama children's self-detonation to rapidly form Yama battlefield, trapping Sleeping Lady inside. Sleeping Lady had almost the same reaction as Meng Tu. What immortal battlefield is this? It is so fast. Fong Yuan slowly showed up. Of course it is. But compared to Rumor Cage, this is still too slow. Sleeping Lady looked at Fong Yuan with a wary expression. Sir, who might you be? Do we have any grudges between us? Please let me off, we can negotiate if you need anything. Fong Yuan smiled lightly. I want your life. Sleeping Lady's expression turned pale. The Yama children attacked together. Sleeping Lady held on desperately in this situation as she screamed, "Spare me, I will do anything you want. Wait, I will teach you the method to control the divine hedgehog, how about that? I will use this in exchange for my life." Fong Yuan looked at her plainly. Stop acting. How can someone who was able to survive between Murong tribe and Meng tribe be such a coward? Seeing that Fong Yuan exposed her, Sleeping Lady roared as she displayed her true battle strength. Her strength was not low, it was quite different from the outside world's evaluation. She managed to fight a way out of the Yama children's encirclement. But so what? She could not break out of the Yama battlefield, she was still a fish caught in the net. Fong Yuan started to prepare Luo Pasil. Sleeping Lady rushed towards him and attempted to stop Fong Yuan from using his move. But her strength was much lower than Meng Tu. If he could not stop Fong Yuan, how could she? Sleeping Lady smiled bitterly. I am just a lone immortal who does not offend anyone. I usually stay home and rarely go out. I just wanted to develop my small business here. To think that trouble would come to me even when I am home. You devil, one day, you will face your retribution. All your evil acts will be repaid to you 100-fold. You will end up like me. She cursed Fong Yuan loudly, venting the anger and fear in her heart. Fong Yuan's voice was icy cold. It seems that you do not know your sin yet. Sleeping Lady stared with wide eyes. What sin do I have? She was extremely angry. Not only was Fong Yuan trying to kill her, he was also slandering her. Sleeping Lady smiled coldly. You are a demonic path Gu immortal, but you are trying to slander your enemies like a righteous path hypocrite? Humph, simply ridiculous. You do not even deserve a bit of respect from me. You want to know your sin? Your weakness is a sin. Saying this, Fong Yuan shot out Luo Pasil. As expected, Sleeping Lady was hit by this move as her defenses broke like thin paper. She died on the spot. Fong Yuan kept her corpse and immortal aperture. The only downside was that Sleeping Lady had self-detonated all of her immortal goo. Fong Yuan dispelled Yama battlefield. He disguised himself as Sleeping Lady as he stored all of the frontback divine obstruction needles from the divine hedgehog. The divine hedgehog's battle strength fell to rock bottom. Fong Yuan directly suppressed it and sent it into his immortal aperture. As for this divine needle valley, Fong Yuan did not let it off. He used pulling mountain immortal goo to directly take it away, stuffing it into his immortal aperture. Nothing was left behind. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report chapter so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1753, Retrieving Red Lotus, True Inheritance Again. Chapter 1753, Retrieving Red Lotus, True Inheritance Again. Northern Plains. In an ordinary grassland, there was nobody around. Suddenly, a mystical light appeared in the sky, 4 Gu immortals emerged. They were Fong Yuan, Ing Wu Xie, Fairy Miao Yin, and Lady White Rabbit. After rebirth, Fairy Miao Yin and Lady White Rabbit, along with Sixth Hare who was inside Langya sect as a spy, had not been sacrificed yet, they were all alive. Alright, you can go back and cultivate. Fong Yuan opened the entrance of the Sovereign Immortal Aperture as the 3 Gu immortals went in. All of these remaining Shadow Sect Gu immortals were inside Fong Yuan's Sovereign Immortal Aperture, cultivating. Fong Yuan needed them to assemble the ancient battle formation omnidirectional travel. This was the method that allowed Fong Yuan to move rapidly across large distances. Omnidirectional travel was very important to Fong Yuan now, it made up for his weakness in movement. After Fong Yuan lost fixed immortal travel, this move replaced it and helped Fong Yuan get out of many dangerous situations. But fixed immortal travel is still the more convenient to use. Fong Yuan sighed internally. After leaving Divine Needle Valley, he moved through more than half of Northern Plains before arriving here. The aura of omnidirectional travel could not be concealed, it drew attention. Fong Yuan purposely made some detours here and there, he had to go around several super forces stealthily. If he had fixed immortal travel, it would not be so troublesome. Fong Yuan added in his head, of course, fixed immortal travel has to be rank 7 for me to use it well. By now, Feng Jiu should already have rank 7 fixed immortal travel. In the previous life, Fong Yuan had stolen rank 7 immortal Gu fixed immortal travel from Feng Jiu using Great Thief Ghost Hand in the Battle of Langya. This Gu worm was very useful to Fong Yuan. Even after becoming rank 8, rank 7 fixed immortal travel could become the core of a space path immortal killer move. The killer move's power was sufficient to help Fong Yuan travel around the world with ease. Fixed immortal travel was really convenient, it was a top-tier space path immortal Gu, its user could basically go anywhere they desired. Omnidirectional travel was useful but inferior to fixed immortal travel, be it the 5 regional walls or the Heavenly Wind Chi wall, or even the number of people needed to use it. In my previous life, I was lucky and stole fixed immortal travel using Great Thief Ghost Hand. But this method is unreliable, it requires luck. How can I ensure that I obtain fixed immortal travel this time around? Fong Yuan was reborn using Spring-Autumn Cicada, he brought back precious information, attainment levels and killer moves, but his luck had also fallen drastically. These last days, he had been using luck path methods to sustain his own luck. But in terms of luck path, the truth was that even though he explored Imperial Court Blessed Land and destroyed 88 True Yang building, his luck path gains were far less than the world thought. As Fong Yuan's cultivation level rose, these luck path methods were starting to fall behind. But thankfully, in the previous battles, be it Meng Tu or Sleeping Lady, their battle strength is inferior to mine, even with lower luck, it was not a problem. Fong Yuan was quite satisfied with the 2 battles earlier. The entire situation was within his control. This feeling of controlling everything that happens was truly wonderful. In the previous life, he lacked a powerful attacking method like Luo Pasil, he could only rely on Great Thief Ghost Hand to win through a surprise attack, or to use Myriad Dragon and Yama Children for a battle of attrition, it was quite troublesome. This resulted in Meng Tu self-detonating, and Fong Yuan being forced to escape during the Battle of Langya Blessed Land. In the previous life, Fong Yuan took many risks and spent a vast amount of effort and time to deduce Luo Pasil, he only succeeded during the 5 regional mountain range battle, he used it to capture rank 8 Gu immortal Jun Shenguang alive, shocking even Wu Yong. This time around, he could use Luo Pasil from the start, the effect was clear and evident. After killing Meng Tu and Sleeping Lady, Fong Yuan had 3 of the main immortal materials for Myriad Self-Immortal Gu, he only needed the floating life fire now. According to his previous life's experience, Fong Yuan did not need to find the floating life fire personally. After some time, Central Continent Gu immortal Xianxia would sell it in Treasure Yellow Heaven. By then, Fang Yuan could just buy a bit from him. Fang Yuan came to this ordinary-looking plane for other purposes. He landed and after hesitating for a bit, he activated an immortal killer move. Burning Soul Bursting Luck. My soul foundation is not high now, I need to be careful with using Burning Soul Bursting Luck. But this time, I am entering the river of time, to play safe, I need to use it. Fang Yuan sighed in his heart. In the previous life, many Gu immortals made deductions on him, they had been doing it all the way until Fang Yuan used rebirth again. Although none of the deductions succeeded because of Emperor Yama, it expended Fang Yuan's soul foundation in order to block deductions. Right now, Fang Yuan still had a batch of Guts Gu, but his soul cultivation had been stopped. Dang Hun Mountain had just self-detonated in Fairy Ziwei's hands. Fang Yuan needed a lot of time before he could restore Dang Hun Mountain to its peak condition again from that tiny fragment. After using Burning Soul Bursting Luck, Fang Yuan's luck rose but it still could not be compared to his previous life at the same time period. Spring-Autumn Cicada's downside was immense, the higher his cultivation level, the lower his luck became. It was truly a wonder how Red Lotus Demon Venerable dealt with it in his time. Fang Yuan continued to activate Gu worms as he moved around the plains in a circle. He stomped lightly as he activated the natural formation here. Next, he went inside the immortal formation, vanishing on the spot. Similar to southern border, there was also a natural tributary of the River of Time here. After Shadow Sect found it, they used formation path methods and the natural Dao marks here to create an immortal level formation, concealing this place and preventing anyone from finding it. Fang Yuan looked at the tributary of the River of Time as Time Path Mortal Gu flew out of the river, floating above the river. Fang Yuan calmed his mind, carefully using a Time Path Immortal Killer move. This move was created by him days ago, he had not named it yet, its main purpose was to conceal one's own existence and protect against deductions. After using this move, Fang Yuan breathed in deeply, he jumped into the tributary of the River of Time. Flowing in the tributary of the River of Time, he quickly entered the main river. Far away, an immortal Gu house floated on top of the River of Time, river water flowed beneath it as ripples and waves crashed continuously. This immortal Gu house was designed as a pavilion that was not covered on all four sides, it was very simplistic in appearance. The cover was made of yellow grass, the pillars were gray-white rocks that were not polished. There was a folding screen in the pavilion consisting of multiple panels, it was the most elegant decoration in there. There were 4 Gu immortals in this pavilion, 3 male and 1 female. They were the 4 Xianxia from Central Continent's Spirit Butterfly Valley, they cultivated Time Path and had rank 7 cultivation level, they were quadruplets with a close relationship with each other. Fang Yuan used the Red Lotus True Inheritance that Spectral Soul found to get rid of Heavenly Court's Lord Huangshi, it caused Heavenly Court to experience a lack of Time Path experts. Even though the 4 Xianxia were not Heavenly Court members, they had great strength and were loyal, Fairy Ziwei promoted them personally. Right now, they were guarding the River of Time inside present and past pavilion. Once Fang Yuan entered the River of Time, they would notice it immediately. Oh! At this time, Xianxia gasped lightly. What is it? From among the 4, the youngest and the only sister Sun Guozi asked. The eldest brother, Xianxia, pointed at the folding screen in present and past pavilion, he said with hesitation, I think I saw a ripple earlier on one of the panels. You did? Zhong Xianxia and Xia Xianxia looked at each other. Then let's check it. Sun Guozi had a vibrant and cheerful nature, but because this was an important mission, she did not fool around. The 4 Xianxia activated present and past pavilion, they inspected for tens of times but could not find anything amiss. Everything was normal. I guess I saw wrongly, Xianxia was a little embarrassed. Brother, don't be too nervous. That Fang Yuan is only at the peak of rank 7, we 4 Xianxia can defeat him even without present and past pavilion. Zhong Xianxia consoled. Even though Lord Huangshi died, Heavenly Court had investigated fully, they knew about his usage of Red Lotus True Inheritance and also Fang Yuan's current time path battle strength. Sun Guozi giggled, don't worry, even if all of you die, as long as I survive, you will be revived. You're cursing your brothers now? Oh you. You are really naughty. Brothers, spare me. Present and past pavilion was filled with laughter. These four who were toying around and having fun would never expect that Fang Yuan was already inside the river of time. In his previous life, present and past pavilion found him even though he had an incomplete immortal Gu house. But now, it was different. Firstly, Fang Yuan was only facing present and past pavilion, because now was too early. Heavenly Court had not assembled the other 3 time path immortal Gu houses yet. Secondly, Fang Yuan had a deep understanding of present and past pavilion. He had destroyed it twice in his previous life. Those 4 Xianxia had died at his hands. Fang Yuan managed to capture 3 of their souls and soul search them. He learned a lot about the mysteries of present and past pavilion. Finally, Fang Yuan exchanged for a few time path immortal Gu after rebirth. One of them was rank 7 time path immortal Gu time concealment. It allowed a Gu immortal to conceal their traces. Using an immortal killer move with it as the core, he could evade present and past pavilion's detection, and his time path killer move was even amplified inside the river of time. Because of these, rank 7 present and past pavilion could not detect Fang Yuan's movement. Fang Yuan swam in the river of time, moving rapidly. He faced some obstruction and difficulties of course. Like the sudden springs which could even kill rank 8 Gu immortals, or the ripples of time that could reduce lifespan, any Gu immortal would fear them. There were also year beasts. The river of time had the highest number of desolate and ancient desolate level year beasts. As he swam, Fang Yuan met at least 3 immemorial year beasts. Thankfully, he had already used burning soul bursting luck before. His luck was quite good and most of these dangerous situations were resolved without much problem. Against these year beasts, Fang Yuan chose to avoid them. He tried not to cause a commotion. One reason was present and past pavilion. If he fought, there was a high chance of getting exposed. The other was that Fang Yuan did not own a year essence pool now. Without it, he could not accumulate his forces. Catching year beasts was currently a burden for him. Eventually, spring-autumn cicada started to vibrate. After a while, Fang Yuan found the Stone Lotus Island. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report chapter so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1754, Fang Yuan's Future Self. Chapter 1754 Fang Yuan's Future Self. Fang Yuan ascended the Stone Lotus Island again. More accurately speaking, it was the first time this life, he had come here in the previous life. Once he stepped onto the Stone Lotus Island, Fang Yuan watched the scenes of Red Lotus Demon Venerable's memories. He had already seen this in the previous life. They were just repeated scenes, but Fang Yuan still felt slightly moved. Red Lotus Demon Venerable was truly a very unique venerable. He had rank 9 cultivation level but used Spring-Autumn Cicada to rebirth. He abandoned his rank 9 venerable position. But if he did not, he would not be able to return to the past and change history to make up for his regrets. Thus, later on, he created Future Self, Call of the Ancient, and Support of the Future. He used these killer moves. The Stone Lotus Island that contained Red Lotus True Inheritance had concealment abilities. Heavenly Court could not find it easily. They had not made much progress all along. In the previous life, when they were about to obtain it, Fang Yuan ruined their chances and Feng Jiugu had no choice but to use Assimilation Wind Song. He destroyed the Stone Lotus Island. From Heavenly Court's perspective, it was quite sad. Fang Yuan stepped onto this Stone Lotus Island. It had been here for over 1,000,000 years. But for some reason, when Fang Yuan arrived this time, looking at the river water outside the island, he had a realization. The origin of the river of time should be the time when the world was created. The end of the river of time is naturally the time when the world is destroyed. The vertical movement and length of the river of time is this entire world's experiences. The horizontal movement and width of the river of time is represented by everything in this world, the birds, flowers, fish, insects, people, beasts, plants, and others. Evidently, the more bountiful the world is and the more things that exist, the wider the river of time would be. The more desolate and barren this world is, the fewer things that exist, the narrower this river will be. Fang Yuan had Time Path Quasi-Supreme Grandmaster attainment level, his inspiration flashed now and he gained lots of realization and comprehension towards rebirth. The essence of my rebirth is just bringing a will from the downstream to the upstream through spring-autumn cicada, before it fuses with me from a certain point in time. Because of the theory of time in this world, the world is unique and absolute, there are no parallel dimensions. When I rebirth, the downstream remains as it is. After I died, Heavenly Court dominated the world and the four regions were helpless against it. But after rebirth, I am like a drop of ink in this clear river water. As I continue to change events and people, some things will exist while others vanish, this ink will spread to a larger amount of water, this entire river will be dyed in a different color. When the ink gets to the point where Heavenly Court repairs Fate Gu and holds the refinement path convention, many things will change, the future will no longer be the same. Fang Yuan was a transmigrator from Earth, there was an idea called the butterfly effect. But now, Fang Yuan understood that in this Gu world, the ink effect was more useful to explain the influences of rebirth. Of course, I can easily change things because Fate Gu is not complete, and most importantly, because I am an otherworldly demon not bound by fate. If Red Lotus Demon Venerable goes back to the past, it is hard for him to change many things, the outcomes of many things will still return to their original route. Or rather, otherworldly demons are a huge blob of ink, while native Gu immortals are just ripples in the water, even though they can cause some disturbances in the short run, under the restraint of Fate Gu, everything will return to its original state, there would be no changes. Thinking of this, Fang Yuan's admiration towards Red Lotus Demon Venerable grew. This special existence had forcefully created the current situation despite not being an otherworldly demon. The price that he had paid for this and the sacrifices he had made were simply unimaginable. There were many time path immortal materials left on the Stone Lotus Island, among which were mostly rank 8 immortal materials. Red Lotus true meaning, it could allow a Gu immortal's time path attainment to rise to quasi-supreme grandmaster attainment level. There were also all sorts of immortal killer moves that used spring-autumn cicada as the core, spring-autumn success was one of them. There was also the method that Red Lotus Demon Venerable specially left behind, it was called Future Self, it could allow a Gu immortal to enter his peak rank 7 condition in the future. The only thing lacking was Regret Gu. This rank 8 immortal Gu was still inside the Dragon Whale Grotto Heaven, it was taken by Paradise Earth Immortal Venerable. In the previous life, Fang Yuan had used Paradise Earth Immortal Venerable's arrangements to obtain Regret Gu first before being transported to the Stone Lotus Island. Now, because he knew about the location of the Stone Lotus Island in the River of Time, he came here in advance and took the Red Lotus True Inheritance. This was much earlier than last time. In the previous life, Fang Yuan entered the River of Time 3 times. The first time, he was attacked by Heavenly Court's 4 time path immortal Gu houses and was also ambushed by Li Huang. He lost the incomplete immortal Gu house that he had created after much work, after exposing all his trump cards, he escaped. The second time, Fang Yuan used Paradise Earth Immortal Venerable's method to obtain Regret Gu and directly teleported to the Stone Lotus Island to inherit the Red Lotus True Inheritance. The third time, he found a new Stone Lotus Island that Heavenly Court was about to get. By working with Bing Sai Chuan and the rest to deal with Heavenly Court, he fought for the Red Lotus True Inheritance. Eventually, Feng Jiu Gu used Assimilation Wind Song to destroy the Stone Lotus Island, neither side could gain anything from it. All in all, Fang Yuan's experiences in the River of Time could be said to be full of ups and downs, he had experienced success and failure. This time, using the memories that he had, Fang Yuan first tasted success. Regret Gu isn't here but that is fine, the crucial thing now is Heavenly Court's invasion of Langyip Blessed Land, there is still some time until I upgrade and mass refine all of my immortal Gu. I should make use of Future Self first. Fang Yuan let out Wu Xia and the rest, letting them cultivate on the Stone Lotus Island to familiarize themselves with future self just like in the previous life. Different from last time, Fang Yuan's subordinates, Fairy Miao Yin and Lady White Rabbit, were still alive. It raised the usefulness of future self by a large extent. He himself could use future self too. In the previous life, he had rank 8 cultivation level, future self was useless for him, but now, he only had rank 7 cultivation, future self was still effective on him. Wait. Maybe this is the supposed timing for my arrival on the Stone Lotus Island. Back then, Red Lotus Demon Venerable deduced that I would come here with rank 7 cultivation level, that's why he left behind future self to help me. In the previous life, I thought that Red Lotus had made a wrong deduction. But now it seems that Red Lotus Demon Venerable had considered the situation after my rebirth. That means, this Red Lotus true inheritance was not left to my previous life self, but was meant for the current me. Bright light flickered in Fang Yuan's eyes continuously for a while. He made Ing Wu Xia and the rest stay behind while he left the Stone Lotus Island. Using a time path killer move, he concealed himself, continuing to swim. He remembered the third scene of entering the river, towards the other Stone Lotus Island. He had his plans. His goal was to explore 2 Stone Lotus Islands in this trip. After spending a long time and facing some obstacles, Fang Yuan looked for all the spots that the Stone Lotus Island could appear. But regrettably, he did not find it. Stone Lotus Islands can move on their own. It seems that this Stone Lotus Island is not fixed in position, it is different from the previous one. Fang Yuan was not dejected even though he could not succeed this time. It was part of his expectations. Present and Past Pavilion. The 4 Xianxia encountered a small problem. An ancient year beast attacked Present and Past Pavilion, it flickered with profound light and remained unmoving. Soon, with the cooperation of the 4 Xianxia, this ancient year beast died. Sun Guozi cheered, "Great, we obtained a huge amount of time path immortal materials." That's right. Zhong Xuanzi sighed deeply. The river of time is truly the sacred land of cultivation for us time path Gu immortals. It is just like how Dang Han Mountain and Luo Pa Valley are sacred lands to soul path Gu immortals. Xia Xuanzi added, "That's right, Heavenly Court sent us to guard Present and Past Pavilion. Even though we are supposed to defend against the demon Fang Yuan, this is also an extremely good chance for us to cultivate. If we can get more time path immortal materials, our cultivation will be smoother." Shang Xuanzi smiled, "Not just that, within Present and Past Pavilion, we can observe the upstream and downstream, we can see many scenes of the past and future. Looking at the influences of countless beings and their effects across time, it would greatly benefit our comprehension of time path, we can raise our time path attainment levels more easily." Sun Guozi gritted her teeth lightly. It is a pity Fate Gu was damaged and is incomplete. Long ago, before Fate Gu got damaged, by observing the upstream and downstream of the river of time, time path great experts could observe the past and peer into the future, they were able to predict many future events accurately. Xia Xuanzi nodded continuously, "That's right, Star Constellation Immortal Venerable did that in the past. Even though she was not a time path Gu immortal, her wisdom path methods were extraordinary, she could mimic the power of time path and use the tributary of the river of time to deduce many future events. She predicted that the 7 Louis Gue siblings would create the first immortal Gu house in history, Turtle House, and thus created Star Constellation chessboard." The 4 Xuanzi reminisced about the glorious history of time path before they calmed down, resting and processing the ancient year beast corpse, before continuing their observation of the river of time. They did not know that Fang Yuan had secretly entered the river of time and obtained a Red Lotus true inheritance before leaving. Fang Yuan went back on the same route, leaving the river of time and arriving in the tributary, before getting back to northern plains. He left the formation and activated Immortal Gu fixed immortal travel, going towards southern border. Why did Fang Yuan have fixed immortal travel at this point in time? Immortal Gu were unique, fixed immortal travel was still with Feng Jiu Gu currently. The reason, Fang Yuan was currently using future self. This time path killer move was very mystical, it created a human-shaped phantom image in Fang Yuan's sovereign immortal aperture. The phantom image sat in the air, it was like a lump of water from the river of time, shining in multicolored lights. The phantom image's face was exactly the same as Fang Yuan. The phantom image had a sovereign immortal aperture too. This immortal aperture was Fang Yuan's future immortal aperture. There were many phantom Gu worms inside, for example, fixed immortal travel. Since rebirth, Fang Yuan has not caused too much of an influence yet. The downstream of the river of time was not dyed by the ink yet. Thus, the downstream was still maintaining the events of Fang Yuan's previous life. Future Self was able to allow a Gu immortal to enter their strongest rank 7 condition. In the previous life, Fang Yuan's strongest moment as a rank 7 was right before the 5 regional mountain range battle. At that time, Fang Yuan had already captured Xianxia and the other southern border pursuers. He had also extorted all of the southern border super forces. To resist strong enemies and plot against Heavenly Court, so that he could obtain Red Lotus true inheritances in the River of Time, Fang Yuan annexed Xiaxia's time path immortal aperture and became a rank 8. He faked his tribulation in the 5 regional mountain range to set a trap for them. At the start, during the Battle of Langya Blessed Land, Fang Yuan stole Feng Jiuji's fixed immortal travel. After that, he attacked Plunder Shadow Earth Trench and secretly worked with Qi Chuyu. After that, Fang Yuan set the Year's Flow execution formation to capture the southern border pursuers and extort the super clans. After that was the 5 regional mountain range battle. And after that, Fang Yuan entered the River of Time. He did not find the Stone Lotus Island. Instead, Heavenly Court hunted him and he barely escaped. Thus, Fang Yuan's future self was fixed at the moment before he ascended to rank 8 through annexing Xiaxia's immortal aperture. At this time, he already owned fixed immortal travel. Using future self, Fang Yuan went from northern plains to southern border. But he did not go to the 5 regional mountain range. The 5 regional true inheritance was very useful to him. Fang Yuan knew this. It was not wise to activate the 5 regional true inheritance now. Because the 5 regional true inheritance would cause a huge commotion, the 5 regional mountain range had to be destroyed before Tao Zhu's will would awaken and acknowledge him. Fang Yuan only had rank 7 cultivation level now. Even though his battle strength had grown, standing up to rank 8s was quite difficult. If he attracted any rank 8s or immortal Gu houses when activating the 5 regional true inheritance, it would be awkward. To play safe, Fang Yuan was going to leave the 5 regional true inheritance for later. He came to southern border now. It was not for the 5 regional true inheritance. He came to an ordinary valley instead. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report chapter so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1755, Wild Immortal Gu. Chapter 1755 Wild Immortal Gu. Fang Yuan arrived in a valley. He found a cave and set up a mortal Gu house before he entered quiet cultivation. Ingwu Xia and the rest were still on the Stone Lotus Island, practicing future self. Due to rebirth, Fang Yuan skipped that step. Future Self's greatest help towards Fang Yuan was not in cultivation level or battle strength, but the use of fixed immortal travel. With Future Self, Fang Yuan could use it to travel between the 5 regions and 2 heavens. Of course, he could not enter places like the Dragon Whale Paradise. Immortal Gu were unique. Right now, the real fixed immortal travel was in Feng Jiuji's hands, but if Gu immortals could create killer moves that could mimic the effects of other Gu, they could use it in place of those unattainable immortal Gu. This was the profundity of using Gu. Fang Yuan's time path clone was bathed in the light of wisdom, making deductions continuously. One of the tasks was to modify Yama battlefield and add in time path immortal Gu so that it could display the advantage of a time path battlefield. In the previous life, Fang Yuan had too little time. He had to raise his cultivation level while dealing with Heavenly Court and obtaining Red Lotus true inheritance. Heavenly Court exerted great pressure on him. Fang Yuan had to manage his own immortal aperture while resisting them. In this situation, Fang Yuan created Yama Battlefield, Luo Pasil, Myriad Ghost Sword Dragon and other killer moves. It was all that he could do. Gu immortals usually took 3 to 4 years to create an immortal killer move. Fang Yuan had the light of wisdom along with proficient wisdom path methods and high attainment levels in many paths. This allowed him to create this miracle in his previous life in terms of killer moves. And now, he brought these gains with him. Fang Yuan was able to make use of his killer move gains in the previous life now and even further elevate them. This was a huge advantage. Yama Battlefield is a battlefield encompassing Soul Path and Enslavement Path. Enslavement Path specializes in attrition battles. There are countless Yama children that do not fear death, they can even self-detonate before dying, draining the enemy's resources and battle strength. The advantage of Soul Path is to gain strength from killing. In a normal Soul Path battlefield, killing one enemy would increase the power of the battlefield itself. Fang Yuan's Yama battlefield had these two traits. But the latter was weaker, the conversion speed of the Yama children was not fast. Fang Yuan often had to fight powerful enemies that made this advantage very unlikely to be useful. If I add Time Path Immortal Gu in, Yama battlefield would possess the trait of a Time Path battlefield. A Time Path battlefield specialized in changing the speed of time. The most classic example was to extend the time inside the battlefield. 1 day outside would be a month inside. This would give the user more time to kill the enemy inside the battlefield. For example, if an enemy was trapped inside a Time Path battlefield and the allies sensed something wrong, they would come and help. The allies take 15 minutes to arrive, but inside the formation, 3 days would have passed. The battlefield user would have killed the enemy and left by the time they arrived. In the previous life, even though Fang Yuan trapped Feng Jiu with Yama battlefield and even stole his fixed immortal travel, he did not manage to kill him. The reason was that Feng Jiu had Fate Armor Immortal Gu to stall for time. Fairy Zi Wei obtained enough time to deduce and break Yama battlefield. If Fang Yuan's Yama battlefield had the power of Time Path, he could extend the battlefield's time to 3 days and nights. Even though Fairy Zi Wei could still break it in the end, she would only receive Feng Jiu's corpse. Fang Yuan modified Yama battlefield. He was quite expectant towards the results. Especially when he had quasi-supreme Time Path attainment level, it was not hard to add in Time Path Immortal Gu. He cultivated many paths. It became increasingly useful as he got stronger. The killer move Myriad Ghost Sword Dragon was the best example. Against compound killer moves that fused many paths together, Gu immortals who cultivated just a single path could not deduce or defend against them easily. Fang Yuan stayed in this nameless valley for 4 days and 5 nights. Eventually, he found his opportunity. Rumble. Daytime, the earth shook, a crack appeared. The valley collapsed, dust clouds rose. Fang Yuan had to fly into the sky. The cracks on the ground became larger, the valley was completely devoured. A huge earth trench formed right before Fang Yuan's eyes. The 5 regional walls were slowly shrinking, the earth veins of the 5 regions were gradually fusing. When the earth veins shook, many earth trench formed. Southern border had the densest earth path Dao marks. The formation of earth trenches was also extremely intense. Fang Yuan waited patiently. He only descended after the earth trench stabilized. He started to search. A newly formed earth trench produced a large amount of Gu materials. Lifeforms emerged from the ground as well. Of course, most were corpses. As Fang Yuan explored, he found more valuable things. Not long after, he saw the first desolate beast corpse. A desolate beast corpse was a bunch of rank 6 immortal materials. Even though it was damaged, it was simply free loot. Fang Yuan took the desolate beast corpse effortlessly. What made him happy was that this desolate beast corpse still had a soul in it. This desolate beast soul could be turned into a Yama child. Fang Yuan used his investigative killer move as he searched. His gains were increasing, but they were just easily collected things. When he met with mildly injured ancient desolate beasts, Fang Yuan avoided them. Why have I not found it yet? Are the rumors false? If Luo clan purposely sent out false news, this trip would be a flop. After another 15 minutes, Fang Yuan started to get anxious. This earth trench was in the territory of southern borders Luo clan. As time passes, Luo clan's Gu immortals would likely arrive. And they might bring their immortal Gu house along. After all, each earth trench formed would represent huge benefits. Luo clan had to be careful with it. Even though Fang Yuan was not afraid, he did not want trouble, he only wanted to achieve his goals and leave. By noon, Fang Yuan had not found his target, but his gains accumulated into a pile. It is really not here. Did I miss something? Or is my luck so bad it affected this trip? Right when Fang Yuan was suspecting himself, his eyes started to shine in a divine light. I found something. He carefully approached and found an ancient desolate beast diamond-head turtle. This turtle was as large as a boat, it was entirely bright yellow but had a flat shell on top. The most eye-catching thing was its head. It had a huge head that resembled a drill, its sharp mouth pointed outwards with a natural spiral. Half of its head was translucent, resembling a low-grade diamond. The diamond-head turtle lived in the deep sea, it could swim very fast in water. It could also move in the earth, but when it did that, its head would rotate and drill as it loosened the soil ahead of it. But because of its huge shell, it moved much slower in the soil than in water. Fang Yuan floated above this diamond-head turtle as he used several investigative killer moves. Fang Yuan's investigative methods were not outstanding, but against the diamond-head turtle, it was sufficient. Soon, joy was shown all over Fang Yuan's face. He found a wild immortal Gu on the diamond-head turtle. That's it. This wild immortal Gu was Fang Yuan's goal for this trip. Fang Yuan immediately acted, using Yama Battlefield. Once Fang Yuan moved, his aura leaked as he got exposed. The diamond-head turtle was just a wild beast without sufficient wisdom, but it had keen instincts. It growled at Fang Yuan before trying to retreat. But Fang Yuan had already arranged several Yama children to encircle it. The Yama children and the diamond-head turtle fought in a big battle, but because he was afraid of damaging that wild immortal Gu, Fang Yuan was quite restrained. Not long after, 2 Yama children were pierced by the diamond-head turtle and one had its head bitten off. Even though the Yama children died, they did not self-detonate. Even though they suffered huge losses, the goal of pestering the diamond-head turtle had been achieved. With the help of the Yama children, Fang Yuan activated Yama Battlefield and trapped the diamond-head turtle. At this point, Fang Yuan let out a breath of air, he relaxed his mind a little. Yama Battlefield was successfully activated. It was hard to detect in the outside world. Even if Luo clan's Gu immortals came here, there was a low chance that they would find this battlefield. And the diamond-head turtle was basically helpless now that it was trapped in Yama Battlefield. Most rank 7 Gu immortals would be unable to escape if they ended up inside, not to mention this mere ancient desolate beast. Fang Yuan was neither anxious nor proud, he played safe. To preserve immortal essence, he did not even use Great Thief Ghost Hand. His current luck was not optimal, he might only steal a large number of mortal Gu using this move. Eventually, with the help of the Yama children, Fang Yuan weakened this diamond-head turtle to its limit and captured it alive. Its wild rank 7 immortal Gu was also obtained by Fang Yuan. Very good. With this, I will be able to counter fixed immortal travel. Fang Yuan was very happy, as he stored the diamond-head turtle and wild immortal Gu in his immortal aperture. He dispelled Yama Battlefield. Going back to the Earth Trench, Luo clan's Gu immortals had already arrived. They were furiously scolding now. They had clearly discovered that Fang Yuan had arrived before them. Looking at the traces, Luo clan's Gu immortals were feeling pained. A lot of the immortal materials were already taken away. Luo clan's losses were huge. Fang Yuan took a look at Luo clan's immortal Gu house before concealing his traces and leaving quietly. After leaving for a certain distance, Fang Yuan used future self to go back to Xianxia blessed land from southern border. Fang Yuan's sudden appearance shocked Xianxia land spirit immensely. He moved towards Fang Yuan as he said with surprise and joy, "Fang Yuan, you snatched fixed immortal travel from them." If they did not have fixed immortal travel, it would be very hard for Heavenly Court to invade Xianxia blessed land. But Fang Yuan shook his head. This is just a killer move. Are you all ready to refine Miri itself? Lang Yalan's spirit was very disappointed in Fang Yuan's answer, but he still replied, we are almost ready, the hairy men are practicing day and night, the other Gu materials are ready, but your 8 main materials are needed, have you collected them all already? Fang Yuan shook his head, I only have 3, but there is no rush, we still have time. Lang Yalan's spirit was anxious, Elder Fang Yuan, that's not the right attitude. Heavenly Court might invade any moment now, we already have the weaker hand, if we act so carelessly, we will be in huge trouble. Understood, understood. First Supreme Elder, don't worry, I know what I am doing. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report chapter so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1756, You Still Dawn, T Get It? Chapter 1756 You Still Dawn, T Get It? Fang Yuan kept track of the time. He still had a lot of time. Even though he had already killed Meng Tu and Sleeping Lady, even going to the River of Time to obtain a Red Lotus true inheritance, as well as taking that wild immortal Gu from southern border. After doing all these, he still had a few days until Zhang Ji sold the floating life fire like in his previous life. This is mainly because I spent a few months to deduce killer moves like Yama Child and Emperor Yama in the previous life. But now, I took action straight away, I saved a lot of time and effort. For the next few days, Fang Yuan did not stay idle. Using Future Self, he continued to go all over the 5 regions from Langya Blessed Land, he entered southern border the most. Fang Yuan purposely went to places where earth trenches formed. In his previous life, the commotion in the 5 regions as earth veins fused created many earth trenches all over the world, it was growing more intense as time passed. In the final battle, when Fang Yuan died at Duke Long's hands, the 5 regional walls had vanished, the earth veins were unified, earth trenches stopped forming as a result. For the following few days, Fang Yuan's gains were extremely high. Immortal materials piled into a mountain, he even obtained 3 wild rank 6 immortal Gu. Fang Yuan's luck was worse than in the previous life, but it was not hard to make huge gains. He had clear information. Earth trenches were formed by heaven's will, no Gu immortal could predict them. Each earth trench was over 10 or 100,000 li long, being extremely deep and difficult to explore. Even super forces would face huge difficulties exploring the earth trenches and extracting the most valuable resources in a short period of time. But Fang Yuan knew which places contained the best resources, he went straight for them. This was all thanks to the information that he collected during his previous life. The formation of earth trenches had no pattern, most Gu immortals did not see value in this information. But Fang Yuan, who could use spring-autumn cicada, was different. In the previous life, I could not explore the earth trenches, with just my strength alone, I cannot compete with super forces. And most importantly, Heavenly Court gave me immense pressure, I had to resist them while finding ways to obtain Red Lotus true inheritances. I had no time or energy to care about earth trenches. And now it seems, these earth trenches are truly valuable, it can move anyone's greed. And this is just the situation now. For the next few years, earth trenches and earth veins will create even bigger commotions, more and more resources will surface. The burst of resources would raise the strength of Gu immortals, and the rise in battle strength would spur on the ambitions of Gu immortals further. In my previous life, the 4 regions Gu immortals attacked Heavenly Court, these earth trench resources played a crucial role. In the 500 years of my previous life, the reason for the 5 regions' chaotic war was mainly the earth trench resources and the rise in attainment level through dream realms. In his free time, Fang Yuan would analyze the situation and look at his circumstances, continuing to improve on his post-rebirth plans. This rebirth was very different from the previous times. The most important thing was that his strength and influence now was great, it far exceeded any of his previous rebirths. With his strength and influence, the ink effect of his rebirth became much more significant. Fang Yuan acted to execute his own plans while preparing himself for any possible problems. And as expected, a problem really occurred. And it was a major one. A few days later, Fang Yuan observed Treasure Yellow Heaven and did not find any traces of Zhang Ji. In the previous life, he was already selling floating life fire at this time. Fang Yuan quickly investigated, but luckily, Zhang Ji's information was not hard to get. Black Heaven Temple's Gu immortal Zhang Ji lost to immortal crane Sek's old lord Ken Yang in a competition. Thus when they went on an exploration and found the floating life fire by chance, it went into old lord Ken Yang's hands. Immortal Crane Sect and Black Heaven Temple were part of Central Continent's 10 great ancient sects. In terms of strength, Immortal Crane Sect was weaker than Black Heaven Temple, but in terms of Gu immortal battle strength, old lord Ken Yang was stronger than Zhang Ji. Black Heaven Temple's Zhang Ji had rank 7 cultivation level, but he was very ordinary. Old Lord Ken Yang was very famous though. His signature killer move life-chasing fire was a headache to most Gu immortals. Years ago, he even went to Northern Plains as part of Feng Jiu Ji's group, to investigate the collapse of 88 Tru Yang building. News that Zhang Ji lost to Old Lord Ken Yang quickly spread. Fang Yuan did not need to guess to know that this was Immortal Crane Sect's action. Immortal Crane Sect was weaker than Black Heaven Temple. They had to treasure every opportunity to raise their reputation. This victory was a great chance for publicity. Old Lord Ken Yang's victory was not surprising. What interested him was, why did Old Lord Ken Yang appear? In the previous life, Old Lord Ken Yang did not show up. Zhang Ji had obtained the floating life fire without any hassle. This is not good. Different from Zhang Ji, Old Lord Ken Yang is a fire path Gu immortal. Floating life fire is useful to him. Even if it is useless, Old Lord Ken Yang can contribute it to Immortal Crane Sect. He is different from Zhang Ji. He has higher strength and status. If he gives it to the sect, they would reward him. Old Lord Ken Yang's gains would not be low. Fang Yuan felt somewhat of a headache. He had to make other plans now to obtain this floating life fire from other sources. But at this time, Old Lord Ken Yang started to sell the floating life fire publicly in Treasure Yellow Heaven. Fang Yuan was slightly shocked before he understood Old Lord Ken Yang's intentions. Or rather, Immortal Crane Sect's intentions. Immortal Crane Sect saw this as an important opportunity. They wanted to spread the news and raise their reputation. Old Lord Ken Yang selling the floating life fire had the same intention as Fang Yuan selling Thunder Ghost True Monarch's 3 rib bones. After understanding this, Fang Yuan became one of the floating life fire's buyers. Floating life fire was a rare immortal material. Its sale price was high but not absurd. In the previous life, Zhang Ji did not know its value. Fang Yuan got it cheaply. But this time, it was Old Lord Ken Yang who cultivated fire path. He knew about the value of the floating life fire. He naturally sold it at a different price. It seems that I have to pay a higher price to obtain this floating life fire. Fang Yuan was mentally prepared, but the following competition was out of his expectations again. Buyers who were after the floating life fire seemed very interested. They competed and raised the sale price of the floating life fire to an absurd degree. The floating life fire's price was high, but the competing Gu immortals did not become disinterested. They created a huge ruckus as their verbal conflict soon escalated to a matter of pride and face. Fang Yuan realized that this was Immortal Crane Sect's show. They purposely got people to raise the prices to an absurd amount. The buyers and sellers were all part of their sect. They were paying some fees in Treasure Yellow Heaven to gain a lot of publicity. It was simple. The higher the price of the floating life fire, the more commotion and discussion it would generate. When they talk about the floating life fire, can they ignore Old Lord Ken Yang? That would involve Immortal Crane Sect as well. More and more Gu immortals would realize that Immortal Crane Sect was still a part of the 10 great ancient sects. They had deep foundations. Even though they seemed weak now, they might just be keeping a low profile. Thinking about this, Fang Yuan smiled bitterly. The floating life fire was too important to him. Even if the prices were high, he had to buy it. After all, the other plans were not reliable. Time was crucial now. If he wasted too much time, Fang Yuan's entire post-rebirth plan would be ruined. After getting the floating life fire, Fang Yuan passed the other main materials to Langya Land Spirit. Langya Land Spirit looked at them and checked that there were no problems with the immortal materials before he used the refinement path killer moves with Fang Yuan and the hairy man Gu immortals, trying to familiarize themselves with these immortal materials. After days of preparations, Langya Land Spirit saw that the time was right. He brought Fang Yuan and the hairy man Gu immortals to the long hair refinement path formation. What a good refinement path formation! Fang Yuan praised in admiration. Langya Land Spirit smiled, the delight on his face was unconcealed, his eyes shined with great confidence. Both the formation and immortal Gu recipe are top-notch. Elder Fang Yuan, this myriad self-immortal Gu recipe you provided is very incredible. After looking at it for a long time, I finally understood half of its profundity. With my estimation, using this myriad self-immortal Gu recipe, there is a 40% chance of success. Fang Yuan laughed loudly. That's right, this is why I wanted to refine this Gu to raise my battle strength and deal with Heavenly Court. Alright, enough talk, let's enter the Gu refinement formation. At this point, Langya Land Spirit frowned. Elder Fang Yuan, you lack refinement path experience, are you really going to refine the Gu personally? Fang Yuan nodded, this Gu refinement is extremely important, especially to me. I need to participate, even if the refinement fails, I will not be upset. Don't worry First Supreme Elder, I am merely helping out, I will not interrupt you. I know my own limits after all. Alright, since you insist, we will do that. Langya Land Spirit sighed, entering the formation as the main person in charge. Followed by third hair, fourth hair, sixth hair, seventh hair, and the other Gu immortals, before Fang Yuan as the last one. Fang Yuan stood at the final formation core towards the end. The formation started to activate. Light shined everywhere, all sorts of refinement path methods were activated, the process was smooth and easy. Floating life fire and edge Gu were first refined, followed by battlefield blood sand, heart blood, and other main materials. During this time, Fang Yuan took action several times but they were all trivial matters, it was just as he had assured Langya Land Spirit. Several days later, Langya Land Spirit and the hairy man Gu immortals revealed expressions of joy. The immortal Gu was starting to form. They were just a few steps away from success. Suddenly, the light exploded as dust clouds rose, a stench filled the air as the Gu refinement encountered an issue. Why did this happen? Langya Land Spirit and the rest were very shocked, they quickly tried to salvage the situation, it was very chaotic. Right when they were about to fail and Langya Land Spirit became helpless, Fang Yuan suggested building a temporary Gu formation to assist the refinement path formation and get rid of all the impurities here. There was no choice, Langya Land Spirit had to give it a try, he accepted Fang Yuan's suggestion. Once the formation within the formation was created, Fang Yuan said, please enter the formation, First Supreme Elder. Langya Land Spirit had no doubts, in this situation, he was the only one who could do it. But once he entered the formation, he was immediately suppressed. Fang Yuan, what are you trying to do? Langya Land Spirit was furious and shocked. Langya Land Spirit, at this point in time, you still don't get it? Fang Yuan smiled lightly. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know in report chapter so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1757, Repaying Kindness with Enmity. Chapter 1757 Repaying Kindness with Enmity. Fang Yuan, you actually dare, you are too ignorant and fearless. You dare to plot against me inside Langya Blessed Land. I will make sure you understand what severe mistake you are actually making. Langya Land Spirit screamed with a furious expression, he looked like a volcano about to explode, he was about to erupt with lava and melt Fang Yuan entirely. But at the next moment, Langya Land Spirit's movements froze, the anger on his face turned into deep shock instantly. Why? Why can't I move? My connection with Langya Blessed Land is also almost entirely severed. At once, Langya Land Spirit became dumbfounded. Fang Yuan smiled, everything was going according to plan. Ever since Fang Yuan saw Langya Land spirit for the first time, he already had the thought of taking down Langya blessed land. After many years, this thought finally grew from just a seed to a beautiful blooming flower. Fang Yuan looked at Langya Land spirit plainly but with deep confidence. It is pointless, you do not know the difference between us after all. Langya Land spirit struggled intensely, but he was like an ant, suppressed and unable to move, not to mention regaining control of Langya blessed land. He tried hard but found that the situation was not improving. Instead, his restrictions were becoming more severe. This is impossible. He looked at Fang Yuan with a look of disbelief. Fang Yuan smiled. It seems that you have already started to notice the difference between us. Fang Yuan's refinement path attainment level far exceeded Langya Land spirit. The former had used long hair true meaning to reach quasi-supreme grandmaster refinement path attainment level, the latter was just long hair ancestors land spirit formed from obsession. Even though it had extraordinary refinement path attainment, it was very far from reaching quasi-supreme. Fang Yuan's formation path attainment level also far exceeded Langya Land spirit. Langya Land spirit had merely ordinary attainment in formation path, while Fang Yuan was a formation path grandmaster. And most importantly, Fang Yuan was very skilled in the setting of formations. Self-cleansing formation, omnidirectional travel ancient battle formation, dragon scale seas food path immortal formation, immemorial year beast fishing formation, flood discharge formation, self-will heaven sealing formation, wisdom refinement formation. Fang Yuan had designed most of these Gu formations, he had modified them and set them up personally step by step. Indeed worthy of you, Fang Yuan. You are truly a publicly recognized demonic path overlord. Langya Land spirit clenched his fists, his eyes were spewing fire and his face was distorted, he stared at Fang Yuan fixedly. He gritted his teeth as he said, this was all part of your scheme. Myriad self-immortal Gu's recipe was flawed from the start but I could not notice. The problem was bound to happen during the Gu refinement process, using that chance, you created the formation and tricked me into entering. This formation within a formation takes reference to bloodlight spirit suppression. This also means that out of the 8 main materials of Myriad self-immortal Gu recipe, the 4 blood path materials are used to target me. Only the first 4 materials are used to refine Myriad self-immortal Gu. Langya Land spirit said with certainty as his emotions became calmer. Fang Yuan looked at him without speaking, he had a calm expression too. Langya Land spirit started to frown, he could see a faint smile from Fang Yuan's eyes, he seemed to have noticed his intentions. Panic flashed across Langya Land spirit's eyes, but he quickly concealed it. He thought, I need to stay calm. I cannot panic. Long hair refinement path formation is the peak creation of my main body, how can Fang Yuan grasp it so easily in this short period? He set a formation to harm me but this blood path formation is just a formation within a formation. Soon, if the refinement path formation activates, this blood path formation will be destroyed. By then, I will be able to escape. As long as I can escape, the whole of Langya blessed land will be in my control. I can spread news of Fang Yuan trying to harm me, the variant human alliance will stand by my side. By then, I will make sure Fang Yuan regrets this. Aya. Langya Land spirit suddenly patted his head, he had an ashen expression and deep regret, he wanted to kill himself, damn it. Why did I shout out my inner thoughts? Fang Yuan smiled, don't worry, if even you could think about this flaw, why couldn't I predict it? What, you knew about it already? Langya Land spirit was first shocked before pretending to be calm. He laughed loudly, so what if you realized? Can you understand this refinement path formation? Fang Yuan rubbed his nose, my understanding of this formation is deeper than yours. But of course, I am still far from comprehending it fully. Langya Land spirit laughed loudly again, that's right. Just you wait Fang Yuan, when I get out, I will show you the consequences of betraying my Langya sect. But Langya Land spirit waited and nothing happened. A while later, the blood path formation was still stable as before. Langya Land spirit continued to wait but the long hair refinement path formation showed no commotion. Furthermore, his entire body was already dyed in a blood-red light. This is impossible. What did you do? Suddenly, Langya Land Spirit screamed at Fang Yuan. He had fallen into complete panic. Fang Yuan smiled and did not respond. He had interacted with this long hair refinement path formation far longer than Langya Land Spirit expected. That happened in his previous life. Fang Yuan had deep attainment in formation path, refinement path, and wisdom path. He was able to understand the profundity and essence of the long hair refinement path formation. The long hair refinement path formation was created by long hair ancestor with all his effort back in the day. With Fang Yuan's current foundation, it would be very hard to create a refinement path formation that was on par with it. He would need a vast amount of time, energy, and resources. But looking at this long hair refinement path formation was a completely different case. Fang Yuan was not the creator, he was merely appreciating this work of art. It was easier for an artist to critique this piece of work now than to create it himself. Of course, he was just an observer, he could not understand the profundity of this formation in its entirety. But that was not a problem. Sixth hair as the spy had already controlled a certain important area of the formation. With Sixth Hair's help, Fang Yuan ensured that the long hair refinement path formation could not interfere with his blood path formation. Langya Land Spirit struggled for a while longer before he realized, due to Fang Yuan's meticulous scheme, he could no longer turn this situation around. There was no choice. This black-haired land spirit that was completely corroded by the blood light had to let the other white-haired land spirit appear to try and change the situation. But regrettably, Fang Yuan knew all about Langya Land Spirit. How could he miss that potential problem? The moment white-haired land spirit appeared, he was suppressed by the blood path formation. A large amount of blood light went into him. You shameless demon! The white-haired land spirit was suppressed and unable to move, he could only speak. He scolded Fang Yuan intensely. Fang Yuan, oh Fang Yuan, you unscrupulous and devious scumbag. You were able to get to this stage today, my Langya blessed land provided you the biggest help. Before you became immortal, I helped you. Eventually, you were able to destroy 88 True Yang building. When you first became an immortal and was completely broke, I made transactions with you and allowed you to earn immortal essence stones through deducing recipes. That was your starting point. When you wanted to refine Gu, I helped you countless times. Which hairy man Gu immortal in the blessed land has not helped you at least once? When your tribulations were too risky, we lent you immortal essence stones and immortal Gu to pass those difficulties. I gave you the immortal tribulation tempering aperture as well as killer moves like triple layered sword wave. When you moved star form blessed land, we lent you Gu worms and the necessary methods. When your Hu immortal blessed land was attacked, we took a risk and helped you to minimize your losses. I was the one who fed your wisdom Gu. I used up so many lifespan Gu in my blessed land. When your Dang Hun mountain was taken away, I compensated you according to the agreement, even if we had to give up the refinement path true meaning. White-haired land spirit got more and more angry, he felt extremely grieved, his eyes turned red as he spoke. Different from the black-haired land spirit's rash and strong attitude, the white-haired land spirit was calm and enduring, he was only interested in Gu refinement and wanted to avoid problems. The black-haired land spirit was an extremist while the white-haired land spirit was a pacifist. O Fang Yuan, your conscience must have been eaten by dogs. Our Langya blessed land treated you so well, yet you are repaying kindness with enmity, you schemed against me. When you were unable to live outside and all 5 regions Gu immortals went after you, Langya blessed land was the place that sheltered you. You are a human but black hair and I accepted you, we made you a supreme elder and gave you important roles, we treated you as one of us. But this is how you treat us in return. Look at your own conscience, do you feel any bit of guilt at all? Do you feel that you have done us injustice? The white-haired land spirit screamed and cried, he was extremely upset. Fang Yuan was expressionless, no. Langya land spirit. After a while, he shouted, you are acting like this to your benefactor, your friends, your family, does your conscience feel no pain? Do you not feel bad? Fang Yuan dug his ears. Not really, I am quite excited actually. Langya Lan's spirit was beyond furious, he wanted to tear Fang Yuan into epics. Fang Yuan, you demon. You are just too shameless. You are a beast, a bastard. You are a devious scoundrel, you are shameless, as expected of a human. Go ahead and laugh, you will not laugh for very long. People like you will die a terrible death, I was truly blind to have trusted you. Heaven will not let you off. If I was given another chance, I will kill you at first sight, I will incinerate your corpse and mince you into a million pieces. Oh. Fang Yuan smiled as he shook his head calmly, too bad you can't do it. Langya Lan's spirit was speechless, he wanted to rip that smile off Fang Yuan's face. But he could not move. He could only curse to vent his anger. But against someone like Fang Yuan with no shame or morals, his anger was truly pointless and weak. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report chapter so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1758, Heavenly Court S Invasion. Chapter 1758 Heavenly Court S Invasion. Langya Blessed Land, Long Hair Refinement Path Formation. Blood light gradually faded, the blood path formation opened up as Fang Yuan and Langya Lan's spirit walked out with the latter behind the former. Fang Yuan's scheme succeeded. In the previous life, Langya Lan's spirit had caught Fairy Z way off guard because she killed the black-haired Land spirit and white-haired Land spirit showed up. The black-haired Land spirit was ambitious, even though he knew about Langya Blessed Land and Longevity Heaven's agreement, he did not want to use it. Once the white-haired Land spirit showed up, he sought help from Longevity Heaven without second thoughts. Eventually, because of the white-haired Land spirit's action, Fang Yuan escaped while Heavenly Court retreated in defeat. Longevity Heaven obtained Langya sect and became the eventual winner, gaining the greatest benefits. Right now, I suppressed the Land spirit, Longevity Heaven will not gain anything. Fang Yuan looked at Langya Land spirit. Right now, Langya Land spirit had gone back to the black-haired Land spirit under Fang Yuan's orders. To prevent the hairy man Gu immortals from becoming suspicious, the black-haired Land spirit pretended that their relationship with Fang Yuan was still the same as before. Fang Yuan purposely let out a breath of air, it was all thanks to First Supreme Elder this time that we salvaged the situation. The black-haired Land spirit smiled, Ma-1, mainly because we had the refinement path formation, we should get back into refining the Gu as quickly as possible. The black-haired Land spirit had a slightly subservient tone and smile, but other than sixth hair, the other hairy man Gu immortals felt no suspicions. Who could have thought that this shocking change had occurred right under their very eyes? Fang Yuan entered the long hair refinement path formation and continued to refine myriad self-immortal Gu. Hours later, a sharp profound light appeared in the refinement path formation. The profound light faded as an immortal Gu was revealed. This Gu worm was more than 10 meters long, it was like a centipede that shined in a metallic luster, the mouthpiece on its head looked dangerous while there was a pair of long antennas on its forehead, it had 5,000 legs on either side of its body, having a total of 10,000 legs. Rank 7 Immortal Gu Myriad Self. Even though Fang Yuan's main goal was to scheme against Langya Land's spirit, he did not give up on refining myriad self-immortal Gu. In the previous life, myriad self-immortal Gu had a 50% success rate. But now, in order to trap Langya Land's spirit, he modified the recipe and lowered its success rate from 50 to 40%. Regardless, he did not give up on refining myriad self. He could not give up on refining myriad self-immortal Gu after all. It seemed to have an insignificant boost to Fang Yuan's strength, but it was actually very important. The killer move Myriad Self was the combination of enslavement and strength path, it gathered the specialty of both paths. But it was overly complex and took a long time to activate, it spent a lot of thoughts of the Gu Immortal. Now that it became a Gu worm, Fang Yuan only needed to take a few steps to unleash the full power of the original Myriad Self killer move. Other than Myriad Self, Fang Yuan's reverse flow protection seal, Myriad Dragon, Myriad Ghost Sword Dragon and other killer moves would also benefit from this. Especially Myriad Ghost Sword Dragon, Fang Yuan had created this move near the time of the Central Continent Refinement Path Convention. Without Myriad Self-Immortal Gu, he would need too many Gu worms to activate it, the time taken would be too long and there would be no use for it in battle. Even though Myriad Self-Immortal Gu could not raise Fang Yuan's strength directly, it strengthened his foundation and allowed him to gain even more potential in several aspects. The Immortal Gu refinement ended. Next, Fang Yuan looked around the whole of Xianxia Blessed Land and collated his gains. Xianxia Blessed Land had an immense origin. It was left by one of the three greatest refinement path experts in history, Long Hair Ancestor. Long Hair Ancestor was a legendary figure. He had refined countless Immortal Gu in his life. Even thieving Heaven Demon Venerable and Giant Sun Immortal Venerable came to look for him when refining Gu. Long Hair Ancestor also had a special identity. He was a hairy man. While hairy men had long lifespan, they would still die eventually. Long Hair Ancestor left behind rank 8 Xianxia Grotto Heaven, but after countless years of development, White-Haired Land Spirit decided to lower its rank and returned it to a blessed land. Blessed lands faced far weaker calamities and tribulations than Grotto Heavens. With the White-Haired Land Spirit's management, the blessed land developed very well. It had a huge space far beyond most blessed lands, it even exceeded many Grotto Heavens. In terms of time path, its time flow was 1 to 36 compared to the outside world. And worth mentioning was that Xianxia Blessed Land had an immortal killer move on its tributary of the River of Time. It could alter the time flow in the immortal aperture. This was the work of Long Hair Ancestor, who had invited a time path great expert personally when he was alive. In terms of Dao marks, Xianxia Blessed Land had the highest number of refinement path Dao marks, surpassing 300,000. The remaining Dao marks were mostly water path followed by earth path. Xianxia Blessed Land had 4 continents. They were the black hair, yellow hair, and white hair continents in the sea, as well as cloud cover continent in the sky. The blessed land produced abundant resources and people. There were also countless Gu immortals. It was truly a super force of its own. The vast number of people ensured the production of many lifespan Gu. Undeniably, this was the #1 blessed land in the world. Xianxia Land Spirit was suppressed by Fang Yuan already. Everything here belonged to him. Other than the blessed land's resources and manpower, there were also a vast number of Gu recipes, killer moves, and Gu worms. Xianxia Blessed Land had many immortal Gu in its inventory. For example, the currently rank 7 Heavenly Essence Treasure Imperial Lotus, the Wood Sprout Immortal Gu that Fang Yuan had once borrowed to use the killer move Light Fungus Radiance, Beast Enslavement Immortal Gu, Formation Plate Immortal Gu, and many others. Most of the Immortal Gu were already given out to the Hairy Man Gu Immortals for their use. Xianxia Blessed Land had 3 Gu formations. The first was the Long Hair Refinement Path Formation, the second was the Submain Teleportation Gu Formation, the third was the Ancient Battle Formation Heavenly Giant Solar. Among which, the main formation of the Submain Teleportation Gu Formation was on Cloud Cover Continent, while the 9 sub-formations were distributed all over northern plains, for example, Tai Chiu, Dragon Elephant Plain, and Foam Bow Cliff. Other than that, Xianxia Blessed Land had a highly incomplete Immortal Gu House, rank 8 Immortal Gu House Refinement Cauldron. There was also a man-made secluded domain of heaven and earth that was not completed despite immense effort, Refinement Sea. In the previous life, when Heavenly Court attacked Xianxia Blessed Land, Xianxia Land Spirit made use of the water in the Refinement Sea to display the killer move Omnipresent 4 Seas. He had once taken control of the situation using it. Xianxia Blessed Land had a huge inventory with countless immortal materials but relatively few immortal essence stones. And finally, Xianxia Blessed Land had 3 true inheritances. They were Thieving Heaven's true inheritance, Giant Sun's Self-Luck true inheritance, and Long Hair's Refinement Path true inheritance. Rank 8 Steel Life Immortal Gu was part of Thieving Heaven's true inheritance. In the first life, Ma Hongyun obtained clues to this Thieving Heaven true inheritance. He came to Xianxia Blessed Land and asked Xianxia Land Spirit to refine Gu for him 3 times. This was also part of Thieving Heaven's true inheritance. Fang Yuan had a deep understanding of these 3 true inheritances. Years ago, he had transacted with Xianxia land spirit and learned about this. Back then, in order to deal with strong enemies, he had to sell his own secluded domain of heaven and earth. Now, the whole of Xianxia blessed land belonged to him. I have about half a month left. Feng Yuan estimated the time. In the previous life, he had worked on deducing Luo Put seal at this time period, in order to make up for his lack of offensive methods. As for defense, he had reverse flow protection seal, there was no worry. In the end, he only managed to deduce Luo Put seal years later. This time around, he already possessed Luo Put seal. His main deduction was to add the effect of time path into Yama battlefield, so that he could gain a compound battlefield killer move. Even though he suppressed Xianxia land spirit and had sufficient refinement path attainment level, Feng Yuan was not in a rush to annex Xianxia blessed land. He had already decided to use the tactic in the 5 regional mountain range. He was going to make Xianxia blessed land a trap that would lure in the heavenly court members. Firstly, Feng Yuan needed Favourite Gu to come here and contribute his fixed immortal travel. After all, when Feng Yuan reaches rank 8, future self would not be usable anymore. Secondly, he needed Heavenly Court to expose their star cast killer move. This method was too incredible, it could directly change the situation of all 5 regions, any super force would feel extremely threatened by it. Once star cast gets exposed, it would spur on the 4 regions' super forces to attack Heavenly Court. And thirdly, he wanted to kill a few Heavenly Court Gu immortals in advance. Feng Yuan would not let go of any chance to weaken Heavenly Court. And finally, Feng Yuan wanted to borrow the help of Heavenly Court to deal with the Gu immortals of the Snowmen, Rockmen, and Ink Men in the 4 Races Alliance. By using the same method as in the previous life, he would annex all 3 of these forces at once. Taking down enemies and allies in a single swoop, wasn't it a great idea? More than 10 days passed. Central Continent, Heavenly Court. Star Constellation Chessboard. This rank 8 immortal Gu house was shooting out fireworks, countless starlight specks were flying out and radiating the entire Heavenly Court. Starlight shined on the faces of the Heavenly Court Gu immortals. Nearly 10 of them were ready to move out. The leader was Fairy Ziwei. She looked at the sky as bright light shined in her eyes, even more dazzling than the starry sky. To think that Wisdom Gu is really inside Xianxia blessed land. With it, Star Constellation Chessboard will become a rank 9 immortal Gu house. By then, I will be the #1 Wisdom Path Gu immortal in the world. Heavenly Court will almost certainly be able to repair Fate Immortal Gu. Feng Yuan, I can't wait for this. I want to kill you personally. Thunder Ghost True Monarch gritted her teeth. Favourite Gu was silent and peaceful. Chen Yi was waiting in anticipation. His performance in Green Ghost Desert was not good, he did not retrieve Divine Bean Palace. I cannot fail again like last time. I have just joined Heavenly Court, I need to show some results. This battle is a great opportunity. No matter how strong Feng Yuan is, he is merely rank 7. Xianxia blessed land has a huge reputation but it is too weak internally, even Favourite Gu could enter and leave at will. We are mobilizing so many rank 8 great experts now, we will definitely win. Sigh, Lady Ziwei is too vigilant. Chen Yi grumbled a little. Fairy Ziwei was sending such a huge force, it was like a tiger going all out to hunt a rabbit. Chen Yi would not be able to make any achievements. In his opinion, couldn't 2 or 3 rank 8 Gu immortals take down Xianxia blessed land easily? They were not ordinary rank 8s, they were Heavenly Court members. Bam! Along with the expectations of many Gu immortals, the starlight in the sky gathered, a huge light blue pillar was formed in the sky. Immortal Killer Move, Star Cast. Let's go. Take down Xianxia blessed land and capture the demon Feng Yuan. Fairy Ziwei gave her orders. Thunder Ghost True Monarch was the most impatient one, she directly rushed into the starlight pillar. Feng Yuan, I am coming. Just you wait. Thunder Ghost True Monarch snickered. 1. He wanted to say Master. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., Please let us know report chapter so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1759, 9 I've been waiting. Chapter 1759 I've been waiting. Thunder Ghost True Monarch felt her world spinning. After a brief moment of chaos, her vision cleared up. In almost an instant, she vanished from Heavenly Court, arriving in a huge formation space. She focused and looked, seeing that Fang Yuan was standing before her with a killer move that had been prepared already. Fang Yuan, good timing. Thunder Ghost True Monarch growled loudly with blood-red eyes. It was like the meeting of enemies. Fang Yuan smiled plainly. Thunder Ghost True Monarch, I've been waiting for you. Saying so, he pushed with his palm as Luo Pasil shot towards Thunder Ghost True Monarch. Thunder Ghost True Monarch wanted to dodge subconsciously, but the super formation's power was already affecting her. Even though Thunder Ghost True Monarch could dodge quickly, she needed a lot of time to do so. As a result, the overall result was that she moved very slowly in real time. Shock and anger was expressed all over Thunder Ghost True Monarch's face. She could not dodge, she was hit by Fang Yuan's Luo Pasil. A huge black armor appeared all over Thunder Ghost True Monarch's body. The armor was ferocious and flamboyant, having sharp curved spikes and lightning flashing above it. The chest portion of the armor had a dark blue opened mouth like that of a giant ghost. And her helmet looked like a monster's head, forming a stark contrast with the girl's delicate and cute appearance. Luo Pasil landed on Thunder Ghost True Monarch's armor. At the next moment, countless cracks appeared on Thunder Ghost True Monarch's armor. Next, with a light pop, the entire armor cracked into pieces, exposing Thunder Ghost True Monarch's main body. Fang Yuan used Luo Pasil and the super formation to destroy Thunder Ghost True Monarch's strongest defense in one move. Thunder Ghost True Monarch shouted loudly. Instead of dodging, she charged towards Fang Yuan. This was a wise tactic. Normally speaking, people would retreat in such circumstances to regain their footing. But doing that in front of Fang Yuan would make them lose initiative. It would be a downward spiral as Fang Yuan gains control of the momentum of the battle. Thunder Ghost True Monarch did not back down. Instead, she went ahead to fight against Fang Yuan. At this moment, Thunder Ghost True Monarch's rich battle experiences and brave nature was on full display. She invaded Xianxia blessed land but got ambushed, landing in a difficult spot. The disparity in situation did not make her lose her cool. Instead, her bravery and fighting spirit were ignited. As expected of the person who once resisted Spectral Soul Demon Venerable, this person did not know what giving up was. There was no way to lower her morale. Her final killer move, Lightning Heart Explosion, was an actual mutual destruction method. Even if she dies, she would drag her enemies with her. This was her true nature. Of course, Fang Yuan already knew about Thunder Ghost True Monarch's final method. Fairy Ziwei was a Wisdom Path Gu immortal, but so was Fang Yuan. As a Wisdom Path Gu immortal, he would make countless arrangements. How could he not predict Thunder Ghost True Monarch's nature and course of action? Like what Fang Yuan had said earlier, he had been waiting. Immortal Killer Move, Steal Life. After suppressing Xianxia Land Spirit, thieving Heaven True Inheritance in Xianxia sect became Fang Yuan's. Using Steal Life Immortal Gu, Fang Yuan unleashed the Immortal Killer Move using Immortal Gu Steal Life as the core. Even though Fang Yuan did not have rank 8 Immortal Essence, he could make Xianxia Land Spirit do it. He had Longhair's Immortal Essence after all. Steal Life was not displayed by Fang Yuan. Xianxia Land Spirit, which was inside the formation, had used it. Red light that was as thick as a finger flashed as it landed on Thunder Ghost True Monarch's forehead. Thunder Ghost True Monarch's movements came to a stop. She rapidly aged. In the blink of an eye, she turned from a cute little girl to a wrinkled old lady. She stretched out her thin and dry fingers as she grabbed at Fang Yuan, speaking as her teeth fell off. How did you? These were her final words. She died. With intense regret and hatred. She had died of old age, her lifespan was fully consumed. Even after dying, her eyes were wide open, staring at Fang Yuan fixedly. Fang Yuan smiled lightly. Within the super-immortal formation, the Gu immortals of the four races were in a commotion. What happened? She died like that? We killed Thunder Ghost True Monarch. Wasn't that too easy? The variant human Gu immortals were all dumbfounded. After calming down, they started to analyze. It was Lord Fang Yuan's great plan. That's right, Thunder Ghost True Monarch fell into our trap. She had no way of retaliating. Even though she is a rank 8 Gu immortal, against Lord Fang Yuan, she was completely helpless. I finally understand why the human Gu immortals are bent on going after Lord Fang Yuan. The variant human Gu immortals sighed deeply, their gaze towards Fang Yuan carried wariness, fear, admiration, and reverence. Looking at Thunder Ghost True Monarch's corpse, Fang Yuan felt no surprise. As a rank 8 expert, her death was not as simple as it looked. The power of Wisdom Path Gu immortals was to make plans before taking action. With sufficient information, they could easily counter their enemies. Because of rebirth, Fang Yuan knew about Thunder Ghost True Monarch's trump card. Secondly, Fang Yuan had spent a lot of effort in modifying Xianxia Blessed Land's defensive formation. He added a lot of immortal Gu. Steel Life Immortal Gu was one of them. It was all thanks to Fang Yuan's formation path attainment and the light of wisdom. Ordinary Gu immortals could not achieve this. Thunder Ghost True Monarch's two strongest methods were Lightning Heart Explosion and Soul Armor Combat. Thus, once Fang Yuan saw her, he used Luo Pa Seal straight away. This move dealt with Thunder Ghost True Monarch's soul armor with incredible effect. Without her soul armor, after Thunder Ghost True Monarch died, she became suppressed by the formation. She could not activate Lightning Heart Explosion. And he also used the killer move Steel Life. This was not the same as using Steel Life Immortal Gu, which could not distinguish ally and enemy. This time, Fang Yuan deduced the killer move Steel Life, to target only the enemy. Thieving Heaven Demon Venerable had used his method on Steel Life Immortal Gu. It could only be used thrice. Fang Yuan could not remove that limit. Even with only 3 uses, Fang Yuan used it on Thunder Ghost True Monarch without hesitation. Thunder Ghost True Monarch had great battle strength. The longer she stayed here, the greater the threat to the entirety of Xianxia Blessed Land. If she unleashed Lightning Heart Explosion, his losses would be severe. Thus, Fang Yuan unleashed his moves instantly, killing her before she could even react. Heavenly Court. Looking at the starlight pillar, Chen Yi could not help but say, "I'm going too." Fairy Ziwei glanced at him before nodding. As a Wisdom Path Gu immortal who possessed Star Constellation chessboard, she could more or less understand Chen Yi's intention and thoughts. After getting permission from Fairy Ziwei, Chen Yi flew into the starlight pillar anxiously. I need to act fast. With Thunder Ghost True Monarch's ferocious battle strength, the later I go in, the less achievements I can make. By now, she might have killed some variant human Gu immortals already. Xianxia Blessed Land, here I come. Chen Yi entered the starlight pillar with great excitement. At the next moment, he arrived in Xianxia Blessed Land's formation space. This is Xianxia Blessed Land. Suddenly, Chen Yi's body froze, his pupil shrunk to pin size. He saw Thunder Ghost True Monarch's corpse. Fang Yuan had used the super formation to mimic Time Path's specialty, slowing the time flow. But over at Heavenly Court, time was moving normally. After Thunder Ghost True Monarch entered, Chen Yi went into the starlight pillar almost right after her. As a result, right after Fang Yuan killed Thunder Ghost True Monarch and captured her remaining remnant soul, Chen Yi appeared. You are quite fast. Fang Yuan smiled lightly. Chen Yi stared at Thunder Ghost True Monarch's corpse, shouting, Senior. Thunder Ghost True Monarch did not reply. She was undeniably dead. How could this be? This is impossible. Chen Yi, who had strong battle intent and enthusiasm, felt like cold water was poured all over him. He had been thinking that Thunder Ghost True Monarch was killing everything in her path, Xianxia Blessed Land would be in complete chaos as Fang Yuan defends against her pathetically. But the truth was, Thunder Ghost True Monarch died, while Fang Yuan smiled towards him with absolutely no injuries. Who could have expected such a situation? Chen Yi blinked consecutively before he growled, "Very impressive demon, you made this illusion so convincing that I was almost deceived by you." Saying so, Chen Yi flickered with green light, he used his defensive killer move. He did not attack in a rush, he stood to guard the black spiral behind him. Thus, at the next moment, Chen Yi sensed something amiss. The power of time path is affecting me. His defensive killer move formed very slowly. Heavenly Court. Fairy Ziwei had a calm expression as she said to Feng Jiugu, "Go in as well." Feng Jiugu nodded as he entered the starlight pillar. With Feng Jiuji's strength, he should be able to defend himself. We are mainly relying on his own Dao Guardian luck. Heavenly Court does not have many luck path methods, this is the only way to resist Fang Yuan. Fairy Ziwei sighed to herself internally. After Feng Jiugu was transported inside, she was the next person to go. But right when Fairy Ziwei was about to move, boom! The starlight pillar exploded into countless starlight specks in the sky. Fairy Ziwei was stunned. The Heavenly Court immortals behind her. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report chapter so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1760, Overwhelming Advantage. Chapter 1760 Overwhelming Advantage. The killer move Star Cast might be incredibly powerful and would affect the balance of all 5 regions, but any killer move had its weaknesses and flaws. Fang Yuan did not know much about Star Cast, but he knew one crucial point. Star Cast needed a tracer. This tracer was the harmful Dao marks that Feng Jiugu left behind the previous time he invaded Xianxia Blessed Land. In the previous life, these harmful Dao marks turned into a dark spiral that transported Chen Yi, Thunder Ghost True Monarch, Feng Jiugu, and Fairy Ziwei in. Luckily, Fang Yuan and Xianxia Land's spirit reacted quickly and destroyed the dark spiral in time. They prevented even more Heavenly Court Gu immortals from entering. This time, because of rebirth, Fang Yuan knew the exact location of the dark spiral. Thus, he modified Xianxia Blessed Land's defensive formation actively and covered it using the formation space. Thunder Ghost True Monarch came in first, she was directly killed by Fang Yuan and the rest, who were well prepared. Chen Yi was the second to arrive. Fang Yuan did not have much time to use Luo Pasil, so he did not do anything yet. And third was Feng Jiugu. He was Fang Yuan's main target. Because rank 7 fixed immortal travel was in his hands. And the fourth person was likely Fairy Ziwei. Fairy Ziwei was a wisdom path Gu immortal possessing star constellation chessboard. If Duke Long was considered the spiritual leader of Heavenly Court and was the source of morale, Fairy Ziwei was the brains of Heavenly Court, their tactician. She was very important, but even if Fang Yuan killed her, there would be little effect. Why? Because Heavenly Court's immortal graveyard had too many wisdom path Gu immortals. If Fairy Ziwei died, the second would replace her. In the past, why did Fairy Ziwei awaken? It was because Heavenly Court's wisdom path Gu immortal, Heaven Overseeing Tower Lord, had died. Fairy Ziwei had to awaken to take his position. If Fairy Ziwei brought star constellation chessboard with her, Fang Yuan might have the incentive to kill her. But regrettably, star constellation chessboard was needed to maintain Star Cast, it had to be left inside Heavenly Court. Fang Yuan had his battle experience from the previous life, he was sure about this secret. In his position, Fang Yuan should not kill Fairy Ziwei. Know yourself and your enemy, and you will never be defeated. Fang Yuan was familiar with Fairy Ziwei, it was advantageous to him. If he killed her, an unfamiliar Heavenly Court wisdom path Gu immortal would weaken Fang Yuan's post-rebirth advantage. Of course, there was the most important reason. Fairy Ziwei had incredible battle strength, Even though Fang Yuan surpassed her by the time of Central Continent Refinement Path Convention, right now, he had not reached rank 8 yet, he was still far from his peak battle strength in the previous life. If he let Fairy Z weigh in, Heavenly Court would have 3 rank 8 battle strengths. Fang Yuan had Heavenly Giant Solar, the Super Formation, the Immemorial Rock Dragon and himself. The battle would be intense, the situation would be out of control. And don't forget, Chen Yi had Genesis Lotus Immortal Venerable's trump card. Immortal Killer move Karma Relocation played an important role in his previous life. Fang Yuan remembered deeply, he would not ignore it. Furthermore, Fang Yuan already suppressed Langya Land Spirit, the whole of Langya Blessed Land was his property. He wanted to reduce his losses. Thus, he destroyed the Dark Spiral earlier than in his previous life. Heavenly Court's Gu immortals were all shocked, while inside Langya Blessed Land, Feng Jiugu and Chen Yi looked at each other with dumbfounded looks. This is completely different from our plans. Star cast failed, only the few of us are over here. Langya Blessed Land was prepared for us, they reacted too quickly. Right now, we can only defend and stall for time until Star Cast activates again. Chen Yi and Feng Jiugu quickly conversed. The two of them floated in the formation space, their backs were facing each other as they tried to defend themselves. Feng Jiugu asked, "That's right, where is Senior Thunder Ghost True Monarch?" Chen Yi gulped, he hesitated a little but did not tell Feng Jiugu about the scene he saw earlier. Instead he said, "I am not sure too. I did not see Thunder Ghost True Monarch after entering." Feng Jiugu nodded, Senior Thunder Ghost must be too eager to make achievements, she went out and got separated from us. If we can join up with her, that would be best. Chen Yi was shrouded in a bad feeling, but he could not shake Feng Jiugu's morale at this moment. He could only say, "I can see how crafty this Fang Yuan is, he would not let us join up easily. Senior Thunder Ghost True Monarch might be currently busy against the enemies for all we know." Feng Jiugu was more optimistic than Chen Yi, he smiled, "Lord Chen Yi, we have outstanding battle strength ourselves. I can resist rank 8 Gu immortals, I can barely be considered a rank 8 battle strength. With you and Senior Thunder Ghost True Monarch, we have 3 rank 8 battle strengths. It will be very difficult for Langya Blessed Land to defend against us, right? Maybe with just us, we can take down Langya Blessed Land." Chen Yi laughed and focused his mind forcefully, "Brother Feng is right, but this situation is truly out of our expectations, you should find a time to escape using fixed immortal travel." Feng Jiugu looked at Chen Yi deeply, thinking that this Chen Yi's emotions were so easily changed. Feng Jiugu had witnessed himself how Chen Yi charged in excitedly trying to make some achievements for himself. But once he got in, he became so dejected and low-spirited all of a sudden. Even though Chen Yi is the former First Supreme Elder of Heavenly Lotus Sect, due to having an authoritative status for a long time, he has lost his bravery. No wonder he failed his mission in Western Desert and caused us to lose Divine Bean Palace. Feng Jiugu looked down on Chen Yi in his heart. Unknown to him, in the previous life, his relationship with Chen Yi was actually quite good. Especially after he used the Incomplete Destiny song to save Chen Yi's life. The two conversed rapidly in almost an instant. Fang Yuan had already taken action. But this time, he did not move out personally, he concealed his traces. The immemorial rock dragon took his place, along with Langya Land Spirit and a band of hairy man Gu immortals using Heavenly Giant Solar. Feng Jiugu and Chen Yi worked together. After a long while, neither side could do anything to the other. But Chen Yi and Feng Jiugu continued to frown deeply. The immemorial rock dragon is tough and sturdy, but its threat is the lowest. The Gu immortals inside Heavenly Giant Solar are not too skilled at fighting either. That's right, the key is Fang Yuan. He has not shown up yet, is he fighting against Thunder Ghost True Monarch or hiding to deal with us? Other than them, there is also this formation. We need to destroy this formation, otherwise, being trapped inside this formation space is very dangerous. Chen Yi and Feng Jiugu planned quickly, changing their tactic. Feng Jiugu started to use his killer move while Chen Yi defended him. Chen Yi blocked the immemorial rock dragon and heavenly giant Solar alone while Feng Jiugu prepared his killer move successfully, unleashing Separation Song. But in the previous life, this song already had no effect, it was even more useless this time around. How could Feng Yuan forget Separation Song? The tactic that Chen Yi and Feng Jiugu tried failed and instead gave Feng Yuan an opportunity to suddenly strike and isolate the two of them. Thereafter, the superformation started to activate as two subspaces were created, isolating Chen Yi and Feng Jiugu. Heavenly Court. Endless starlight specks gathered again. Fairy Ziwei was full of sweat, she worked her hardest to create Star Cast killer move once again. However, Star Cast was not so easily recreated. This move was incredibly powerful, it was able to transport rank 8 Gu immortals, it was truly a tactical method that could affect wars. Precisely so, the price of using it was huge, not only in immortal essence but also the time needed to prepare it with countless complex steps. Without deep wisdom path attainment, it was unusable. If we can succeed and regain wisdom Gu this time, activating Star Cast would be an easy feat, we will not encounter so much trouble. Fairy Ziwei sighed. A Gu immortal beside her smiled, Lady Ziwei, even if we do not go, with those three, they have the power to take down Langya Blessed Land. Heavenly Court's Gu immortals had calm expressions, the situation was very relaxed. But Fairy Ziwei frowned deeply, she felt that something was wrong. That's right, Feng Jiugu has incredible talent, he can resist rank 8 as a rank 7. He already has experience in invading Langya Blessed Land, it will only be easier this time. Even if he fails and gets attacked by Langya Blessed Land's full power, he has Fate Armor Immortal Gu, he can definitely defend himself. A Heavenly Court Gu immortal beside Fairy Ziwei analyzed. Langya Blessed Land. Puff. Feng Jiuji's body shook as he spat out a mouthful of blood, he escaped in distress inside the formation space. Feng Yuan chased after him with a sinister laugh. Feng Jiugu still had shock all over his face, my Gu worms are vanishing mysteriously. How can this be? This should be a theft path method. Is it Feng Yuan's method or this superformation's? He had already used Great Thief Ghost Hand many times, but this time around, the results were different. Feng Yuan only stole a large number of Mortal Gu and one Sound Path Immortal Gu. Compared to my previous life, my luck is very low now. Feng Yuan also felt a little helpless. The higher his cultivation level, the more power Spring Autumn Cicada's rebirth would require, and the deeper his backlash would be. Before this battle, Feng Yuan had already used methods like Burning Soul Bursting Luck, but he was still not reaching his previous life's luck. Even though I gained Giant Sun Immortal Venerable's Self-Luck True Inheritance, and this True Inheritance has a comprehensive amount of killer moves and Immortal Gu recipes, there are only a few Luck Path Immortal Gu currently. Thus, I have not stolen Fixed Immortal Travel yet. Feng Yuan sighed in regret while Feng Jiugu had a solemn expression. He has the power to steal Immortal Gu. The situation is too severe. Even if I have Fate Armor Immortal Gu, he can steal it. Should I use Fixed Immortal Travel to return? Do I abandon Chen Yi? Feng Jiugu was hesitant. At the other end, Heavenly Court's Gu Immortal added, compared to Feng Jiugu, Lord Chen Yi is a true rank 8 Gu Immortal. He is the former First Supreme Elder of Heavenly Lotus Sect, he has abundant battle experiences in his life. He is also the current generation Genesis Lotus Inheritor, he has powerful wood path methods. Lord Chen Yi is old and wise, he is reliable and dependable, he can definitely control the battle situation. Langya Blessed Land, Superformation. Chen Yi was full of sweat, the anxiety on his face could not be concealed. Damn it! He cursed in his heart, the superformation isolated him and Feng Jiugu, his enemies also vanished completely. The formation activated as layers of mazes were formed, countless illusions trapped Chen Yi. Chen Yi continued to investigate and break the illusions but there was an endless number of mazes and illusions. Faster, faster. I need to get out of here and join with Favourite Gu. How did this happen? Why did it end up like this? Xianxia cultivated wood path, his formation path attainment was not deep. Xianxia's battle style was also not specialized in offense but in sustainability. Be it ancient tree prison cage or karma divine tree, they had the same style. In the previous life, Xianxia stayed in the 9-9 consecutive unceasing formation. He caused trouble for Wu Yong and Fang Yuan, but this time, he was the one tormented by Fang Yuan's super immortal formation. This was the tactic Fang Yuan used after familiarizing himself with Xianxia. Heavenly Court. I know you are right, but somehow, the unease in my heart is getting more intense. Fairy Ziwei sighed. The Heavenly Court Gu immortal beside her pondered, that shouldn't be. Even if Favourite Gu and Xianxia face trouble, Senior Thunder Ghost True Monarch is a true expert. She was a legend that caused problems for Spectral Soul Demon Venerable. Last time, Fang Yuan escaped because of the regional wall. This time in Xianxia Blessed Land, she can use her true power. Perhaps more than 10 Gu immortals have already died in her hands by now. So what if Fang Yuan is there? He will only run around like a dog after being chased by Thunder Ghost True Monarch. The Heavenly Court Gu immortal said this with overwhelming confidence and certainty. Xianxia Blessed Land, Formation Space. Fang Yuan chased after Favourite Gu while soul-searching Thunder Ghost True Monarch. He was multitasking. His advantage was too large after all. After using Great Thief Ghost Hand multiple times, even though he could not take fixed immortal travel, he had already obtained 3 of Favourite Gu's Sound Path Immortal Gu. Favourite Gu's strength fell drastically but he was not too injured now. Fang Yuan was using Great Thief Ghost Hand primarily, his other offenses were trivial and merely maintained his current advantage. He did not use moves like Luo Pasil, because he was afraid that Fate Armor Immortal Gu would activate after he injured Favourite Gu. Once Fate Armor Immortal Gu was activated, Fairy Ziwei would be able to sense his exact location. In the previous life, Fang Yuan suffered a loss from this. After Fate Armor Immortal Gu activated, Fairy Ziwei was able to rapidly deduce and break Yama battlefield. This time around, how could Fang Yuan commit the same mistakes? Oh. There are really many Gu immortals trying to invade Xianxia Blessed Land. Fang Yuan gained a lot of information from soul searching. Thunder Ghost True Monarch's cultivation information was valuable but Fang Yuan cast it aside. Heavenly Court situation was much more important to Fang Yuan. Fang Yuan had countless wisdom path methods, he quickly deduced, this means that Star Cast can be used again, I need to hurry up and end the battle here. There is no choice. If this drags on, fixed immortal travel, Fate Armor, and the other immortal Gu would get stolen by Fang Yuan. Favourite Gu had a solemn expression, he finally made his decision to use fixed immortal travel. Wishful thinking. Fang Yuan smiled coldly, activating Immortal Gu Suppress Space. Suppress Space Immortal Gu. This Immortal Gu was obtained from the Diamond Head Turtle when he specially went to Southern Border's Earth Trench. There were many methods to counter fixed immortal travel, but after rebirth, Fang Yuan had 2 most likely choices. One was Fixed Space Immortal Gu, the other was Suppress Space Immortal Gu. Fixed Space Immortal Gu was in the hands of Heavenly Court Gu Immortal Lu Hao. In the previous life, Fang Yuan ambushed Southern Border's pursuers including Xianxia. Lu Hao was also captured. It was a pity that Fixed Space Immortal Gu self-detonated in Lu Hao's body, Fang Yuan did not obtain it. As for Suppress Space Immortal Gu, a Luo clan Gu Immortal, Luo Ran, obtained it. In the previous life, Wu Yong led the Southern Alliance Gu Immortals to attack the 9-9 consecutive unceasing formation. Luo Ran had used it and achieved great success. It was too difficult for Fang Yuan to obtain Fixed Space Immortal Gu now, it was still too early, he was still inside Northern Plains Xianxia Blessed Land, he had not traveled in Southern Border and attracted everyone's rage, Xianxia and the rest had not pursued him yet. Without Wu Yong seeking help from Fairy Ziwei, Lu Hao would not get involved. But suppressed space immortal Gu was easily obtainable according to information from Fong Yuan's previous life. Fixed space immortal Gu could fix a location. Even if fixed immortal travel activated, the Gu immortal would only be transported to the fixed location that was chosen. Meanwhile, suppressed space immortal Gu could prevent the use of any space path methods within a certain area. As suppressed space immortal Gu was also rank 7, it countered the rank 7 fixed immortal travel. Feng Jiu was shocked by this, to think that Fong Yuan's preparations were so comprehensive. At the next moment, Feng Jiu's expression paled. Immortal killer move, great thief ghost hand. Fong Yuan laughed heartily, sighing inwardly, it was not easy, I finally stole fixed immortal travel. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report chapter so we can fix it as soon as possible.